What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods, where we'll be talking about UFC 255 last night. I have the honor and privilege of introducing former U of MMA champion. He is one Pius Lobo, but you guys know him as Voodoo Maximus, and another champion, a champ shit only, literally just to the right of me,
So
right? But
guys,
we have former
yeah.
International Fight Showdown champion Jesse Velasquez, and we're going to talk about this fight last night. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I mean, obviously,
Thank you, man. It's an honor, man. It's gonna be lit. A good card. We got a lot to talk about.
yeah, man. It's I mean, well, it was a great card ish, right? Because theoretically speaking, right, this was a paid, pay per view, right? The UFC 255 wasn't a it wasn't a fight night card or anything like that. And we've seen so many good fight night cards, and also the bulk of what was good in this card and what was fantastic in this card happened on the prelims that you didn't even have to
Yeah.
pay for,
Oh,
right?
for
And
sure.
yeah, so that's no disparaging anything from the athletes that competed on the pay-per-view show, but I mean, if you're a buyer of this particular card, you'd like, I'm good at prelims, and that's it.
Most
Yeah, I
definitely.
mean,
Most
yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead.
I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
for sure. Their prelims, I felt like they were, well, like fight wise, were way more excited than the main card. I agree with that completely.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. I'm
and
with both
Voodoo.
of you, man. I'm with both of you. I'm with both of you because like we always discuss, man, the up and coming dudes, they want to make an impression. This is their first hurrah at the big leagues, you know what I'm saying? They want to come in, make a statement, perhaps get a huge highlight, go viral, and then their name is popping. So it's always good to see the young up and coming fighters step up to the table and perform like these guys did last night.
Oh, for sure, they have something to prove. That's the difference. That's why the rest of the people in the main card, they already proven themselves, so they kind of relax a little bit. Those guys in their prelims, man, especially this first fight, best fight of the night in my opinion, right off the bat. Those guys were scrapping.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Indeed,
I mean,
indeed.
let's get into it. We had Sasha Tinkanov.
That's a
Yeah,
hard
that's what
name.
I'm going with. Yeah, and apparently I haven't done the Voodoo Maximus four name pronunciation class. I said that's what I
The
want.
verbal
That's what I want
wordsmith.
under my Christmas tree, in my stocking stuffer. You can get it for again $499.99 for easy payments, or you can just do a balloon payment of $1,000. That's it. But you can pronounce uh, international nicknames like the illustrious Voodoo Maximus. I'm just saying.
It's worth it.
Sasha,
Yes.
Sasha Palatnikov. Sasha Palatnikov.
See, see, that's why you guys should buy that. I'm just saying. We'll set up the GoFundMe and all that. Yeah, I'm just saying. But I mean, this one three rounds of war. But I mean, Voodoo, what say you?
Well, Luis Kosei, being an undefeated fighter at what 7-0, came in there. He brought the force of Jesus with him. He brought the power with him, and he almost finished Sasha in the first round. But Sasha, being a grizzled fighter, he had something to prove himself. He stayed content. He stayed intact. And towards the end of that first round, he was coming alive. And then he moved on into the second round. He started his footwork, hands and feet action. You can't beat it. While his opponent, stayed with the boxing and the flat-footedness. That will get you nowhere in mixed martial arts. This is the next level. And Sasha was able to piece him up the entire second and third round. What say you, Jesse?
Hey, I completely agree with you. You always bring that up. You can't be flat-footed. You can't just box. Exactly. And the thing with the what was his name? Kosei, most of his fights end in the first round. Like, he's not used to facing adversity himself. He's just getting everyone out there early. And he thought he could do that to someone like Sasha. But Sasha's been in the game a minute. He already has a belt in other organization. He knows how to, like survive an onslaught. And that's basically the whole reason why he won that fight. Like I didn't think that like he that first round he was very close to getting knocked out. He basically just bit down the mouthpiece and said, "Fuck it, I'm not letting this kid break me." And after that first round, that kid was done. He had some heart. He threw some shots here and there, but that after a while, you could tell Sasha was just breaking him down. And then he landed that last shot, and he broke that kid. That kid did not want to fight anymore at the end of that. Hey, it was a great war. Awesome fight. They're amazing fight. Respect to both of them. But Sasha broke that kid. He hit him with that right hand. That kid went to his knees, and he's like, no more of this. I'm done. Which, I mean, it was crazy, but it's like that's just the experience difference. That guy is only – most of his fights – all of his fights, I believe, before this fight ended in the first round, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's not used to going that long. He hasn't faced adversity in the cage yet. So when it finally hit him, he didn't know how to respond to it like Sasha did. Sasha responded it better than he did, and that's why he won. So it's exactly what freaking Voodoo always says, man. He was way more tools and just stayed strong, basically. Like that's just how I saw it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go in there and you try to kill someone, but then they keep walking, they keep coming. It's like Jason and Michael Myers. You know what I'm saying? It's terrifying. You know what I mean? It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's what Kosei experienced. He was able to hang in there the second and most of the third, but you know what I mean? You can only run from Jason for so long. He will catch you and he will stick you. And he got
eventually. That is just as scary as a guy with one punch knockout power. You hit him with everything but the sink, and he's just running towards you. That's terrifying. If you're in there and you're hitting that guy with everything, he just keeps coming. That's scary as shit. It's just like, bro, like, what do I got to hit you with? Why are you still here? You know what I mean? It's like that to me is almost even scarier than a guy who has one punch knockout power. That's terrifying. Then you got to start changing your game plan. You start putting him against the cage, going for takedowns, holding on to him. That's exhausting. If a guy who just keeps going and you're on that back foot the whole fight, that is exhausting. I can see why. Like Coach eventually got caught. It was just the kid just did not want to give in. That was an awesome fight. My pick for fight of the night for sure. I believe they also got fight of the night on the performance awards too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, So that was the $50,000. The first $50,000 bonus administration. The fight of the night one. Yeah, so that's. I mean, again, this had a card with not a lot of star power, right? Yeah. But it's really cool when the first fight of the night. Like not just the first fight of like the main card or the pay-per-view main card or even the prelim on ESPN, like the very first fight of the night. Like if UFC was running stadium with crowds, right? Essentially, this is the one where people haven't already showed up yet. Like think about that, right?
They missed out if they were watching that. I mean, like I'm just saying, they missed out. Like that is for sure.
That's why, obviously, assuming we get back to some sense of normality, if you ever patron an MMA contest, you want to be there. When it says doors open, that's when you want to be there. Because, again, some of the best shit you'll ever see in the fucking card will happen by the guys and girls that are trying to get up top to the main.
For sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, shout out to... And it's weird, right? So I don't know how it's distributed, right? The fight of the night. You would assume, right? If two competitors get it, like, do they split 25 each? Do they each get $50,000?
I think they each get $50,000, but the guy who wins also gets a win bonus. So it's all good for the guy who wins more than anything, I believe.
Well, I mean, theoretically speaking, I mean, if you're gonna blow your load, if you're Louis Kosei, I mean, shit, $50,000 for your trouble? Not a bad deal.
For sure. I was so impressed by him. I was still pretty impressed by his fight. I still really like the dude. I feel like he has potential. I just felt like he's gonna learn from this and not think that he can kill everyone in the first round no more. He's got to pace himself more for sure now.
That's right.
Darn right.
Hey, advice like that you can only get from a former fighter or a current fighter. You know what I mean? You gotta learn to pace yourself, man. Easy, not easy. Lil Wayne said, "Fast money, man. It goes by too fast. You gotta pace it. So just like your energy, you gotta pace that too when you're in there for a 15-minute war. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pace that energy.
For sure. That's a long time to fight someone. 15 minutes? That is a long ass time. And if you're tired, that feels like forever.
I mean, I don't want to say it because you don't want to speak ill of the dearly departed, but Kimbo Slice down to 5,000.
Yeah. I mean, those guys probably felt horrible. That probably felt like years in there for sure. Yeah, that's take
Yeah,
time off your
right.
life, that fight.
Yeah,
Shit.
Yeah, yeah. Which it's
that
kind
was
of weird,
cool.
right? Because I mean, obviously we had a hell of a banger, literally and figuratively, for the first fight of the night. But the second fight goes to a decision, right? We got a finish and a fight of the night, recipient, the first fight, and then we got Kyle Dawkins and Dustin Stoltzfus, which I mean, it's again not to disparage anyone who competed, Dawkins or Dustin, but I mean, we got so early in the card, the second fight on the card, we had to go to the bathroom, grab some popcorn moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really one-sided fight, and I felt like Dawkins could have finished that fight if he hit him more. I don't know why he kept like tying up with him while he was blasting him. He was landing 1-2s at will. I feel like if he just kept doing that, he would have knocked him out. But I think he just played safe and won the fight, and then it was just like compared to the fight before it. Like people are always saying, "Oh, if the first fight's great, then the rest of them will." But then if the first fight's like super good, then the rest of the fights after they're not going to be able to keep up with it. That's kind of what I got from that. Like, man, compared to that last fight, this fight wasn't very exciting. Like I was like, meh. It was a good. I mean, it was cool. I just really surprised at Dawkins' game plan. Like, oh, I'm gonna keep grappling the grappler. You're popping him in his head. Keep popping him in his head till he doesn't want to fight no more. I don't know why he kept tying him up. That was just confusing to me.
It
Yeah,
seemed like it seemed like Dawkins felt like it was a 25-minute fight, so he took his time, but he took his time way too much. You know what I mean? He had the upper hand. He knew he was winning, so he didn't feel the need to press the fight because he was gonna win regardless. That's the feeling I got from it. You know, he was gonna win regardless, so he just kept the same pace instead of upping up the tempo and getting that finish. He didn't have that. It was unfortunate.
It was the opposite of the last fight. He paced himself a little too much to the point where he was just kind of like, I'm just gonna win anyways. Like, so
That's right.
like, yeah, I can see. I
That's
see
right.
exactly what you mean.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. So I mean, I actually don't have too much about it, but I mean, yeah, it was a one-sided affair for Dawkins, So, it's a win. It's definitely a win. But David, oh, shit.
So,
what's up,
There we go.
David? David is one of my old students from way back. What's up,
cool.
David? How you doing, man?
Thank you for joining us, good sir. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Should we move on?
Let's move
Yeah,
on. This is a
not much
good
to talk
one.
about in that one.
Yeah, there's not much to say, but holy shit, the third fight. And I'm not just saying this because he's a friend, but fucking Alan Joban. Like, holy shit.
Those
At 38
guys were
years old,
scrapping.
38 years old, right? Like,
Oh, he's
literally day
38?
before he's
That
30.
man looks young. I didn't realize he was 38. Oh, no way. I did not
Yeah,
know that.
he turns
Damn.
39 this week.
Oh, really? He looks super young. I thought he was like
Yes.
closer to my age or something. I didn't know that. That's crazy. I learned something new,
And,
I guess.
and a model, right? He's a fucking guest
On
model.
He
top
Right?
of
looks
that,
like it. Yeah.
Like, somebody chimed in on the Verbal Tap podcast with Rafa Sparza, their watch along, that he looked like a fucking Disney prince.
You gotta respect that guy at least, man. Shit, that was a good fight.
Hell
Like,
yeah, it
hey,
was.
look. This particular matchup, it was very simple, man. You go in there. We all know this about Alan Jovan. He is a dynamic striker. Dynamic striker. The only place you have a chance with the guy is on the ground. And Jerry Gooden went in there and he decided not only was he going to go in there against a dynamic striker, he was going to go in there and only box him.
exactly.
You're going to go in there, a guy that's willing to throw elbows and knees. The guy has mastered the art of the 8 limbs. And you want to go in there against him with just two
With just two?
fists?
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck with that.
Exactly.
Good luck with that.
I mean, I completely agree with you. I felt like at first Joban they were talking about how Joban was working on his boxing, and he was trying to box with the dude a little bit in the beginning, but then he started seeing the holes with those kicks and those elbows. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna piece this guy up with his kicks and his elbows. The guy had his moments. He did hurt Joban a few times, but every time he hurt Joban just kept him away with those kicks, and man, he rocked him a few times with those kicks. I gotta give it to that dude. He was really tough, super composed for a new UFC fighter to fight someone like Joban too, but. Yeah, Joban ended up controlling the majority of the fight with his kicks and his knees and his elbows. That guy was just throwing hands only, and it was just like, I only got to worry about 2 weapons. You got to worry about 8. And those kicks, man, I got to give it to that Gooden guy. He was taking some hard ones. I was just like, God damn, bro. Like, you're just taking that? Like, I was surprised he didn't go down. Like, I was like, bro, like, how are you just sitting there taking those kicks? That was crazy. Great fight. Not as good as the first one, DB, but pretty close second.
That's true. Yeah.
Competitive, for sure.
Yeah. For reals, I agree with you 100%. I mean, Joban, dynamic striker. Come on, you want to take him away from what he does best, which is dynamic striking. You want to take him to the ground, and the man didn't attempt to go to the ground until the last 2 minutes of the fight. Forget about it, buddy. Forget about it. You're too tired to start engaging in wrestling. You should have done that from round 1, and you would have had maybe a chance of getting Joban to the ground. Maybe. You know, Joban be training with Mr. Anderson, right? Kenny Anderson, is that his name?
Kenny Johnson.
Kenny Johnson. He's been training with Kenny Johnson, right? Yeah. Of course. Something like that. He's been training with this man. You know, takedown defense is going to be on,
wrestling.
Much improved. Yeah, much improved from the last time we saw. So, come on. You're going to try to take this man down in the 3rd round? 2 minutes left in the match, forget about it. It's not going to work out.
Too little, too late at that point. He got beat up too much. Like, if you're getting destroyed the whole fight, wrestling is I feel like is the most effective in MMA, but it's also the most exhausting. So if you don't have any energy, then it's not going to work. You're going to be too tired. And plus, that guy wasn't a wrestler. It's not like he was a D1 wrestler or anything. So it's like, you know what I mean? And then man, he's a lot of experience from freaking Joban too. And even if he did get him to the ground, I mean, that guy's a brown belt under Eddie Bravo, isn't he? Like, that still would have been shitty for him either way. So it's like, Joban was in control, and I felt like the guy was a striker, and he didn't even want to go to the ground with Joban. But if he got a few takedowns, that might have helped. But it was Joban's night. I felt like he just looked really good with the striking to me.
So, I mean, I guess in a bit of
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, in a bit of total disclosure, right? I hit him up for once I saw his name on the card, I was like, hey, you want to do the podcast and whatever? And he was like, bro, like, yeah, absolutely. But after this fight, because I'm really focused, because I think he knew he was on the cusp of getting cut and what have you, right? And I totally get it now, right? So literally days after, it hadn't been announced, but days after, he was on the panel, the UFC panel for the last fight night, right? So he did that. And maybe just stayed in Vegas because he puts out, I would say, one of the best performances of his career. One of the best.
Yeah.
He looked great.
So,
he looked great.
So theoretically,
the way he ended the match was superb. You know what I mean? He almost 5 more seconds he would have got the choke.
Yeah, see, that's where the jiu-jitsu came in. He kind of just used it at the very end to kind of just put a stamp on the fight. Like, hey, I won. No chance this guy's winning. I got it. You know what I mean? So, that was
and what you saw. Yeah,
what
you saw there is Alan Joban. What you saw there was Joban letting you know that I am a complete fighter. I'm not just a kickboxer, but rather a complete fighter.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's weird, right? It's probably the greatest paradox ever, being a supermodel and a professional fighter, right? I mean, we saw Fabio when Fabio went on a roller coaster and got hit with a fucking pigeon, and it just obliterated his fucking face, right? Alan Joban is something completely different. Imagine, right? Yeah.
Joban would have dodged it. Head moving on point.
If you didn't know Alan Joban was a fighter, right? And you saw him at a club and this fucking pretty boy, and then to go to your friends and be like, yeah, he kicked my ass. That dude.
He beat you up and all your friends at the same time.
Whoa. Time out. Time out. Time out. If you had some common sense and you saw Alan Joban in public, you would know that there was something about that guy. He's not just a pretty boy. He's a fit pretty boy. He looks the part. He might be pretty. He looks like he could damage you. I don't know if you've ever seen him in person.
He looks
He's a tall
athletic to
dude.
me.
He's pretty
Yeah.
big. Yeah, he's pretty. He's a big dude. He walks around some close to 205 pounds.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
He's solid.
Yeah, no,
That's
100%.
crazy.
Dude.
100%.
He fights at welterweight, right? That's a lot of weight to lose. Damn, that must
Yeah.
suck. Shit,
And again-
that must suck.
He'll be 39 this week.
That's crazy, man. I didn't realize he was that old. I thought he was closer to my age, like maybe late 20s at most. I didn't think he was that old. I didn't even look at that when they fought. Tell you, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Prime
that just
genetics.
makes
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's but it's kind of cool, right? Like that he gets this big win, you know, and especially at the best time to happen, right before the holidays. You know, he's got his lovely wife, his kids, and everything like that. So I mean, this one was a feel good. This one was, you know, and obviously, if you're not in the camp of Gooden, right? This could have been,
Yeah.
if you're on the opposite end of the cage, it could have been worse for you. Like, but theoretically speaking, and to Voodoo's point, like he trains at Saxon Muay Thai and cross trains with Black House, right? So a lot of times when you see those fighters, whether it be amateur or pro, at shows here in Southern California, Joban, whether he's actually he corners, he corners.
I've seen him at a few of the amateur fight shows.
Yeah,
I never talked to him or anything, but he seems like a pretty cool guy. Like, and he's
No.
always there for everyone. So that shows the kind of person he is too.
phenomenal, right? But you know, again, it's just like there is levels, right? Because like he could have been on the cusp, right? Very much, you could have looked at this as an ascension for Jared Gooden, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna
I believe his stock rose up though, because he went from newcomer to fighting someone like Joban and having a fight like that. I feel like his stock still raises because Joban has a lot of fights in the UFC, and so for you to be a newcomer and fight someone like that, and no, I felt like Joban dominated that fight, but for him to stand there and bang with him for 3 rounds, his stock rised. I feel like people know who that guy is now, for sure. I mean, I know who he is now, and I like the dude. I feel like he's a great fighter. I just felt like he bit off more than he can chew with Joban, but other than that, he looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
As we already know, there are no easy fights in the UFC. Once you get to UFC, anyone's game for anyone. And the young man, Jared Gooden, he still has a lot to learn to be able to make it past 4 fights in the UFC. His kicking game definitely has to improve. You cannot go into a UFC match and not have a complete game, especially a complete striking game. Without the legs, you got nothing. If he goes back and he does the same thing he did, I have a strong possibility he will be cut within the next 2 matches.
For sure, you got to evolve with the game. If you stick to one thing, you're not evolving with the game. You're going to be left behind. He has to start adding some little more Muay Thai to his game, because if you just box in there, you're going to get beat up. For sure.
That's what she said. There you go. And John Parker says, good show so far, guys. Just tuned in and feel right at home. John Parker, I hope you're doing well. The Pacific, not the Pacific Northwest, but the Northeast section of the great US of A. So thank you for joining us. And, dude, if you ever want to come on, let us know. Get in those DMs. You know how it is. Just say it.
That's right.
So,
John Parker in the house.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the 4th fight of the night, which was, I guess, the first bit of controversy that we saw, right? But we had Locomotivo, Nicholas Dalby, best Daniel Rodriguez. And funny enough, right before we jumped on, matchmaker Harvey Castagnolo, who matchmakes for Epic and Smash Global and a litany of other promotions, we were talking about this, right? Like, how did I score it? And we were comparing notes. And this one, you really had to, right? And John Parker says, most definitely, my friends. 100%, brother. So bring it. Don't forget, bring it. Love to have you on. But in terms of okay, so I want to get your thoughts on it. Theoretically speaking, right? You could have said very, very close round, right? Could have went either way. First round, second round, definitively Rodriguez. Third round, definitively Dolby, right? So you could have made an argument that this should have been a draw, right? You, especially if the the judges were not knowing what they were looking at and scored so closely that very first round. The very first round was essentially the rubber, the make it or break it. Like
Yeah.
how the judges scored that first round is who won the fight. I believe that's just my estimation. But what say you guys?
Yeah. I mean,
Jesse, go
obviously,
ahead.
I'm a little biased. Oh, do that. Thank you, man. I'm a little biased when it comes to the local guys. I thought Daniel Rodriguez won that fight for sure for me. But at the same time, I mean, you look at the score too. Daniel Rodriguez landed a lot more as well, like by a pretty high margin based on what I saw. I thought Rodriguez won the first and third. I mean, it was a closely contested fight. I'm not gonna say it was like a absolute robbery, but at the same time, I was thinking it was a little more Daniel Rodriguez's way. I felt like he did a little bit more. He landed a little bit more, but it was close. But at the same time, I thought Daniel Rodriguez took it. That was the only fight of the card I kind of thought had a little bit like controversy behind it. But I thought Rodriguez won. What do you think, Voodoo?
Well, you know, I'm with you guys, but then you want to see what was the judges actually looking at? What were they seeing? So I'm guessing if I was to assume I was a judge, I'm guessing they looked at Nicholas and they looked at Daniel. Daniel probably seemed more like a boxer to them because maybe he doesn't throw as many leg kicks as throw as many kicks as Nicholas Dolby did. Dolby seemed to look more like the dynamic striker because the variations in the level of his kicks, he kicks to the head, he kicks to the body, and he kicks to the legs. And he throws his hands as well. And the way he moved, he reminded them, reminiscent of Conor McGregor-ish. You know what I'm saying? That karate stylish. He looks more like dynamic. Maybe that's why they give him the match. Who knows? Who knows what these judges are thinking?
It's always based on opinion. It's like you can never really be sure. It's always based on the referees and what they're looking at, what they think, and it was hard to score. Even when the scorecards were getting announced, I was like, oh, D-Rod. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know, man. It's pretty close. So yeah, I mean, I can see what you mean. I felt like Rodriguez was even landing the harder shots, I thought, but the other guy was landing a lot more like, what's the word for it? Like, I don't know, like a lot more kicks, a lot more like fancy looking stuff, a lot more like stuff that looks good on the cards, I thought. I think that's kind of why they might have gone his way a little bit.
Variation.
Yeah, because it just looked like he had a little more
There was more
yeah.
variation in his striking. Exactly. There was variation in his striking. Head, medium, and low. And he was doing that with his hands and his feet. Perhaps that's what gave him the edge in the final split decision win.
Yeah, and so in terms of like judging, right? Is sometimes, right, if a particular judge, let's say, and this is exactly the scenario that I use, right? Tony Weeks, right? Nevada, right? Long-standing boxing, referee and judge, right? He might not, and there were iterations where Dolby actually dominated, Rodriguez on the ground. Well, not dominated, but I mean, the control time, it was there, right? So with that all being said, does he know what he's looking at? Like, in terms of ground, acumen, right? And I'm not putting him out there or whatever. I'm just using a theory and scenario. But yeah, I mean, is it, and then we even got, people that practice jujitsu, right? And they might be preferential to the jujitsu grapplers, right? So if you see a lot of jujitsu or jujitsu over striking, even though, like Voodoo likes to say, a dynamic striker, one takedown, and that judge is like, they're throwing babies in the air. I'm like, yeah, that round is theirs.
Yeah, I can see what you mean on that for sure. Because if you don't know the grappling, you don't really understand the positions and stuff. So it's like, how are you going to judge it? You can't throw boxing judges for MMA fight. That doesn't make sense. Like, you got to have MMA guys to do that, not the boxing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jesse. And sport continues to have this particular problem, man. And it's getting to a point where the fighters themselves have to take a look at the judges and see, okay, this judge is a boxing favorite judge. Maybe I should do more boxing. You know what I mean? Like if we have, say, like if we had 90% judges like Michael Bell, David Michael Bell, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to David Michael Bell. Now that dude, I know for a fact that he understands the ground game and he understands the striking game because I've seen him do it. You know what I mean? I've seen him do it. So we need more people like this, people that are well versed, well ingrained in the martial arts themselves to be the judges. So we got boxing judges coming in, and then they're killing our sport, man. They're killing our sport, taking away bonuses from people who are well deserving, and that is a travesty. It's unfortunate that this continues to happen even till today.
Exactly. They got to fix that. Or either that or bring back the sudden death fourth rounds. Or even like the sudden death 6 rounds or something. No draws. I want to see that again. That was always the best in the glory kickboxing. Someone always got knocked out on those. I was like, bro, bring that shit back. People go for the kill in those rounds. That would be cool. I think that would be pretty cool. But we'll see if they ever do that.
I mean, to that effect, you know, John Parker says agreed. MMA scoring needs a huge makeover, right?
For sure.
And I mean, there's been several kind of theories behind it, right? To have more judges, maybe like a 7, you know, almost like a Supreme Court have like a number, you know, like a 7 or a 9, right? Or if, you know, 3 or 4, you know, are split, you have that one middle, you know, you know, there's that theory. There's the theory of, obviously, you know, if you've ever, I can't remember who basically exposed this like theory, but essentially, if you buy 4 seats to a MMA fight, right? Those are probably some of the worst seats that you can get because the cage is usually on a riser, and then there's cage, right? That's the worst place. So you swear that somebody that's like a table, like literally a table length away, you know, has to look into the cage, that they're going to know better than the commentary, right? And you know, I think the most plausible kind of solution to it is the fact like not being in the arena, right? Especially like pre-COVID times when you actually can have fans, right? And you're in a separate room. There's a judge's room, right? And you're listening to, oh no, you're watching the raw video in HD, all that, whatever, but not necessarily hearing it because obviously, you know, you might be biased towards a particular commentator, or you know, like that can be some like say false states. But to me, I think that's like the best scenario is like have them in the separate room, right? So you don't hear any of the background or ambient noise, or you're not affected by like you. Once you get to the arena, you go into the judge's booth. You might take a piss, and you go back into the judge's booth. You know, and that's it. You know, but I also think that there's some tension for fucking up because, like, who's to say you go in there, you know, into that booth and whatever as a judge, and somebody has like a nice fucking envelope, fat with cash, you know. So just saying, you know. So
yeah.
I don't think it's the perfect solution, but
that's a hard problem to fix, and I think that's gonna take a while to figure out. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not
but,
like Nevada.
I mean, it shouldn't take so long. It shouldn't take so long because every day we have fighters that are retiring. You know what I'm saying? Fighters that are retiring. Hey, these people can pick up this mantle. They can pick up where you know from retirement. They can pick up and become judges and remain an intricate part of the sport. That way, judging and all that can remain. I mean, become better actually, become more sharp, and then people will be getting the decisions that they actually truly deserve because we're talking about decision makers that have been there, that have experienced it, that have been in those situations and they know what it feels like. So they will be more likely to make better decision in the end of the match. You know what I'm saying? Compared to what we're seeing these days.
That's for sure. But you would also have to make sure that some of these judges haven't trained with the guys that are actually fighting, because then that's where the bias comes in. You got to make sure those guys, you got to have to be able to separate that. So I've even had that happen in jiu-jitsu tournaments where I'm going against a guy and the referee actually trains with that guy, or they always talk about how like the international tournaments, if you're Brazilian, you're gonna win because you're Brazilian. You know what I mean? That thing. It's like they're
Yeah.
biased. It's like, oh, I trained with this guy, so even if he's losing, he's gonna win. I'm not gonna give this guy any points. You know what I mean? So you gotta be kind of careful with that as well. And even if they
Right.
don't train together on the same team, they probably might end up. They might just be friends or something. There's always going to be a problem with that. You know what I mean? But I see what you mean. I like that idea. Maybe just make it the fighters do it or people who actually train. Like, why are you judging a fight if you've never trained before? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. You don't even know what you're watching. Like, what are you doing over there? You know what I mean? Like, what the heck are you doing? So, yeah, I mean, I see
Hey.
exactly what you mean.
That finger right there must be pointed at the state of California because they're the ones bringing in these judges. Whether it's CSAC, they're the ones bringing in these judges that aren't qualified to be in MMA, but yet they let them into MMA. So it has to start from the top. The correction needs to start from the top and have it trickle all the way down. So I'm with you guys 100%.
Background checks. See if they're trained.
Yeah, and I mean, even but even with it, right? That still doesn't ensure you. You know, there's going to be a human element. You know, we had in Fight Island, right, where her being one of the best in the business, right? And you know, there was I mean, him and Dana White came to blows, like face to face. You know, so just saying, you know, even with all of that, shit can get fucked up still. You know.
Yeah.
And John Parker says, I know a show we did a while back, and they had tracking equipment to count strikes on time. I think that's something they should implement as well and I think playback of people judging from a camera view. So yeah, 100%, and maybe instant replay stuff like the NBA that the judges could have access to.
For sure.
I absolutely agree. But then, and maybe it's just boxing, but wasn't there just a fight where they fucking were looking at the instant replay for 22 fucking minutes? That just happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, oh my god. Yeah, you've come with you try to fix a problem and then new ones come up. It's just like crazy how that works. Like, oh, I fixed this problem and then 10 more new ones come. Like, oh, that's great. It's like
not to throw shade, right?
If you, yeah.
Oh no.
Go ahead. Not
to throw shade, right? But theoretically, aside from 2 fights in this card, a 12-fight card, right? There were 10 3 5-minute round fights. I mean, 3-round 5-minute, right? That's 15 minutes. So the people that were looking at the fucking instant replay did it for 7 minutes longer than 10 of the fights on this card.
That's
just
crazy.
To put it into perspective.
That's crazy.
What the fuck are we doing?
That's pretty funny.
Boxing people, watch MMA
man.
more. Just saying.
I can't call it, man.
Yeah. So, but after this fight, you know, I mean, this was a good win for Dalby because I mean, Rodriguez up until this point was undefeated, you know. So this is a really good win for Dalby, which a lot of people kind of pegged him as not winning, you know, and probably getting KO'd. So, yeah, good win for Dalby. I mean, Daniel Rodriguez is a friend, so I'm just saying. Team Rodriguez, fuck it. But we actually saw the first incarnation of a Shevchenko sister, all right, and kind of building on the legacy that even their mom, like Antonina and Valentina's mom, she kicked ass for her own right, fucking winning a damn tournament, like a black belt tournament in a tradition, like a taekwondo tournament. Like she did that on like Wednesday. Then Antonina and Valentina fucking fight on the same card. Yeah. They mentioned it on commentary, and I was just like, oh fuck, man. Imagine like for everyone that there was like, oh, Valentina's hot, Antonina's hot, whatever. It's like, oh, go. I'd like to see you try. And that's just the sisters. Not even talking about what's his name? Pavlov or Pavlov. I know it's not Pavlov's dog, but they're fucking close. It travels with them all over the fucking place. Like, yeah, that's a fucking. And I don't even know what the fucking dad looks like. He might be like the big ass dude from Game of Thrones. I don't fucking know.
That'd be crazy.
That's a tough road. Is what I'm saying.
Man.
But yeah, we had Antonina Shevchenko 9-2 against Ariane
Uh-huh.
Lipski. What say you guys?
Yeah, man. I thought I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised this fight. I thought Shevchenko would have the advantage on the feet, and then the other girl would have the advantage on the ground, especially because she was coming off that crazy knee bar submission. But it ended up kind of being the opposite. That girl, I didn't feel like she was as good technique wise striking, but she was just so aggressive and powerful. She was popping. I can't remember her first name. Shevchenko's Valentina's sister, like hard. Like she was busting her up, and I was like, damn, this girl hits pretty hard. And she was like busting her up on the feet, and I was not expecting that at all. I was like, oh man, I thought she was a better striker. And then she took her to the ground and just beat the shit out of her. And then I was just like, oh, that's the complete opposite of what I thought was actually going to happen. But yeah, that was a pretty good. It was a hard fight for Valentina. I can't even remember her name. I feel bad just calling her Valentina's sister. Antonina. It's just like, yeah, like it was a hard fight for her. She got tagged up a little bit. I was kind of surprised. I thought, oh, this is, the champion sister, a world-class striker. I thought she would be able to piece this girl up, but that girl was just like taking her shots and just landing some big ones on her. And then she took her down and just got her down and beat the crap out of her. But it was a good performance by her, but she had a hard time. I was kind of surprised. I thought she was going to dominate a lot more than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ariana Lipski was supposed to be, Brazilian, of course. And what comes with Brazilian is that jiu-jitsu prowess, and it was non-existent for some reason. It was non-existent. I don't know if she punched herself out and got tired, and then Antonina witnessed that and was like, okay, let me take you into your world, and then I'm gonna suffocate you in the deep waters. I don't know what happened, but like you said, it was supposed to be the other way around, but it turned out that Antonina Shevchenko was the one that I was actually the one on the ground, and she did what she had to do, ground and pound, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they black belts in judo as well? Valentina and her sister, Antonina? I believe they have a grappling background as well.
Like they're fucking like Habib like
they're just perfect at everything.
Yeah,
they're just black belts at everything.
They're probably like Mensa members in terms of their mind, like probably CIA fucking black ops and shit, fucking black belt and everything, like taking out bears, hunt with Rogan, whatever the fuck. Like that's just what they do. It's just like what they do.
Hey, combat sports is their life, basically. I mean, their mom does it, they do it, their whole family's doing it. They're gonna have a better understanding of it than most people. I mean, especially if it's been in their whole life since they were little. You know what I mean? They kind of have an advantage over some others because of that reason.
Yep. Combat is what they do, man. Combat is what they do. They're good with guns. They're good with their hands and feet. Hey, these ladies can kill you with their bare hands. It's a fact. They can kill human beings with their bare hands. Not to talk about knives and guns and stuff like that. This is what they do. They travel the world like Ryu from Street Fighter, and they learn all the arts that they can learn, and then they put it together into a fine peak, and then they go in the cage, and then they destroy their opponents. That's what they do. This is their lifestyle. Combat is what they do. Period.
For sure. It's a lifestyle for them. That's like their life, basically. Of course, they're going to be good at it,
Whoa.
What's that?
Yeah, holy crap. Their mom. I just pulled up I just looked up their mom. Yeah, she's like a Muay Thai fucking person. Like, you can't get any more badass. And that's crazy, right? Because, like, obviously, like, Gina Carano, Ronda Rousey, whatever, but, like, this is, like, 2 generations across 3 different individuals
just
that are just all fucking badass.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Genetic at this point. Shit.
Yeah, so, I mean, big win for Antonina.
That's what they do.
Yeah, and a big win for Antonina because a lot of people actually thought, she might be like the Roger Clinton, right? Like the fucking shitty, even with that too, your sister is the champ of your weight division, right? So like we were like,
she's the one. She's the one lower, isn't she? I thought she was a 15-pounder. Is she a 25
it
pounder?
says 125. This is that
damn.
yeah. This one is at
they both 125ers, yeah.
She don't want to fight her sister though.
You know what? If any of, I wouldn't put it past it. I'm just saying, like the Shevchenko sisters, right? Like they've pretty much annihilated the entire women's flyweight division, right? They even bring in some people from Invicta, might be some flyweights from Bellator or Combate, and they fucking tear it. And again, it's a collision course. It's like, what do you do? And again, I don't think. I mean, we saw in obviously Anthony Burchank versus God, I can't remember the former Combate champion.
Yeah. Was it Hector Lopez
Perez?
or Gustavo Lopez?
Perez?
Yeah,
Perez.
Lopez, right? Gustavo Lopez.
Okay,
Gustavo Lopez, right? And like literally the next day, they were training together for like a open mat role for like
that's cool.
cancer and shit like that,
That's pretty cool,
and
man.
Gustavo brought beer and shit like that. So I mean, if they can do that, I'm sure the Shevchenko sisters would be like,
that's family though. That's family. That's a little weird. I think that's weird because they're like, that's blood. I don't think their mom was like that. Like, no, you ain't fighting. The mom would probably beat both their asses. They caught them doing that. That's what I would think. Like, I don't think the family would want that. I think that'd be really weird.
I don't know. I think
there has to be true hate between the two if that's gonna happen.
They're too close. I feel like they would make a interim championship for that sister, so she can just defend that, and then the sister can defend the real championship. They just both run the division like that. I don't think they want to fight each other. That'd be weird. I think that would be super weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, how you gonna kill your sister like you kill a little chick? You gonna think she's gonna Jessica eye her? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she would do that to her sister. I don't think she would do that to her. Yeah.
Jessica eye her. Yeah, 100%.
Remember when she got hit? I was like, oh, she's dead. Like, I was scared for her. I was like, oh my God. Like, is she alive? I hope she wakes up. That was bad.
Yeah. I mean,
it gets real.
Yeah, and John Parker says you got to think. A lot of these fighters probably are descended from early warriors or ancient times. The DNA is probably epic. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, right?
Seriously.
Like, what is it? Like, 80% of the world's population, like in 2020, like 80% are like descendants of Genghis Khan. Like that's
Genghis Khan, yeah.
That man was wild, bro. He was spreading the seed for sure. Oh my God, that's crazy. 80%. That is wild. Oh my God.
No,
that's gross. That's some savage shit right there.
Savage shit indeed, my goodness. But I mean, speaking of savage shit, holy hell, we had another. I mean, this one went completely opposite of the way that I thought it was going to be. We had Joaquin Buckley versus the Beverly Hills Ninja, Jordan Wright, and shit.
I had Buckley. I had Buckley.
I didn't.
I thought it went away exactly where it was supposed to go. You didn't think so either? No, man. I like the guy a lot, though. So that's
no.
Yeah. Hey, he's like, powerful, man.
Hey, I'll tell you. Hey, man. Hey. Joaquin Buckley was up in there looking like Mike Tyson from the 90s, man. Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Hey, he went in there and he was putting together combinations that you've never seen before. The footwork was excellent. The hooks to the body, to the top. The way he just put it all together. He closed that distance in and took away all the reach advantage of Jordan Wright, and he went to work, piecing them up to the body and to the head. I mean, the man did what he had to do, and he got him out of there in 2 rounds. Fantastic work. Joaquin Buckley, on top of that, Dan at the post-fight conference, he did what I've been expecting him to do. He spoke on that, speaking ill about his name, He put it out there and he said, if you want to come get some, I'm ready. What's up? I like that. That's how you use your platform, and that's how you take your star to the next level. Joaquin Buckley, you got a thumbs up in my book.
Big facts. I was kind of surprised at that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's a really hard fight for him because Krause has a lot more experience than him. But he has the equalizer, man. That big punch. It doesn't matter how good you are. If someone catches you hard, especially Buckley. I mean, that kid he fought was pretty good. But once he landed, you could tell that kid was done. That right hand he landed on that kid sat down and was like, "Yep, I'm done. I'm not getting up from that." That man hits like a tank. I haven't seen someone that powerful since I watched the highlights of I wasn't alive during Mike Tyson. I had to watch the highlights. But since when Mike Tyson hit people, you see them hit the ground and be like, yeah, I don't want to fight no more. That's the kind of power that Buckley has, man. He touches you and you're just like, nah, bro, I don't want to do this no more. I feel like he's small for the weight class too. He weighed in at 182. I could see him go down to welterweight, and man, he would be murdering people at that weight class. I still haven't seen his ground game yet, but his striking, man, it's so good. I was just like, man, right. I thought maybe he would have choked because from the last fight he pitched. How do you beat that last fight? You know what I mean? And all the pressure that's put on him now because of how great that last knockout was. He really showed up. He was like, nope, that's not just. I'm not a one-hit wonder. I'm gonna show everyone that I got more than that. So I'm excited for him. I like him. I had him, so I was happy on that pick at least.
Hey, Jordan Wright had the all reach advantage. He had the striking prowess. But when it comes to it, man, and you're locked in there against the other man, if you fear, you'll lose. He feared in that match. He had a little fear. And Joaquin saw it. And he broke right through and exposed him. And then he went in there and finished him up, pieced him up. It is what it is. You can't show no fear in there, man. You got to use your tools to the best of your ability. And he didn't do that. That's why he lost.
Yeah. The hype can get in your head sometimes. Sometimes you go against a good opponent. I mean, you probably know about this. Like, sometimes you go against a really great opponent, have all this hype, and it kind of gets in your head. And then you fight them, and you kind of like don't show up to your true potential. You kind of like blow it up. You put them up on a pedestal too much. And then you fight them and realize they weren't even that good to begin with. You kind of just gave them too much respect. Yeah. But in this case, I felt like he kind of thought that. But then once he got hit, that Joaquin gave him a reason to believe it. Like he was like, oh, I have all this hype, and he hit him, and he was like, he got hit hard, and he realized like, oh, this hype might be real. This man just hit me. You know what I mean? And I think that's why he looked scared to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like when he got hit super hard, I was just like, he looked scared a little bit when the fight started, but once he got hit, he was like, oh, there might be some realness to this hype. You know what I mean? He gave him a reason to believe the hype. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you find out they're not as good as you think, but Buckley was like, nah, this is real. I'm gonna crack and you ain't gonna get up, and that's exactly what happened. Dude, it was crazy. That was awesome, man. I was hyped. Hit him with that overhead from hell, dude.
Oh man, he sent them packing.
Yeah, I mean, respect to him, man. He went in there and fought, but hey, man. You got, man. Like, what could you do? Like, you just got. It's just the game sometimes.
He sent them right back to Hollywood, or was it Beverly Hills? He sent them right back to Beverly Hills.
Oh, man. Pretty much.
Hey, there you go. This is a classic case of someone who was hungry and someone who was fed. The one who was more hungry will always be more ferocious. And that's what you saw. Joaquin is on the bill. You got the other guy, Beverly Hills, you know what I'm saying? And you got Joaquin Buckley, someone who's on the grind, on the rise from the very bottom. People like Drake say start from the bottom, now we're here. This guy started from the bottom, and now he's getting to the place where he belongs, where he feels it belongs, and he can taste it. He can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and he's working towards that. And the sky's the limit for the young man. He's so fast.
For sure. I hope he quits his job at Walgreens and just goes full-on UFC fighter now. Hope he made enough money.
That'll
the dream.
That'll be scary.
Yeah. I feel bad for those guys.
Hey,
no, 100%.
Speaking of feeling bad, speaking of feeling bad, the next match, I feel for Brandon Royval. Why don't you take us in there?
Man, before we
get to that, we have some comments, right? So John Parker says,
okay.
Mix fucking con with some crazy Viking, things might get crazy. No, in fact, That is exactly the DNA of the War Master Josh Barnett. So, just saying.
Oh,
That
that makes
That's
sense.
that
crazy.
exists. It exists.
Oh man. Hey,
That
I'm
makes
mixed with
sense.
some Norwegian too, man. I got a bunch of. I'm super mixed. I got some of that in there too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I would say 23 in me. That sounds weird. Anyway, um, um, Harvey, the good brother says, I think we all knew Buckley was winning that one.
I knew it.
Uh,
I knew he was winning that one. I knew.
not me.
Hey,
Not me.
I picked against him, Harvey. I picked against him, Harvey. I picked against him.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I don't know. But Harvey said what you always said. Buckley knows the game. That's how you call a motherfucker
Yes,
out.
That's a
So
good
I
that's
mean,
fight.
right.
I would
That's
like to
right.
see that fight.
That's
I'm not
right.
gonna lie. Yeah.
Yes, me too, man. Hey, and if he loses to a UFC veteran. He better be losing to a UFC veteran. But if
The
he
pressure's on
wins,
Kraus. Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
skyrocket.
It's a win-win. The pressure's on Kraus.
Kid is
Even if he
smart.
does good, his stock still goes up. So it's
Exactly.
like that was a great idea by him, if anything.
And especially Cross was the first one to call him out, saying ill
Yeah.
things about him. He started it. Now the boy's gonna finish it. I like
Yeah.
this. I like this storyline. They can back this up, put some momentum behind it, and let's see this, man. Let's sell this. Come on.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. He's gonna get a main card now. No more prelims for him. That fight. That's gonna be a main card fight for sure.
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So there's that. So we got some cool things. But I mean, Vida, you did such a great job. Obviously, you're way better than me in introducing fights. So let's kick it back. Before you were rudely interrupted by me.
Hey, but you know the comment sad came up, and I felt so sad for Brandon Royval into this matchup against Brandon, the battle of the two Brandons, actually, the battle of the two
Oh yeah,
Brandon Moreno, yeah, Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. The fight was looking excellent. You know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing. Brandon Moreno had the back. You know, it was just excellent grappling from both gentlemen. Excellent striking, excellent grappling. And before you know it, Mr. Royval's shoulder pops out of socket. Take it, Jesse.
Yeah, that was crazy. It just started getting super saucy. It tells you, oh, this fight's getting real right now. And then his shoulder, I had no idea what happened. I was like, what's going on with that? And there were like 2 seconds left in the round. Like the referee could have just waited 2 seconds. They would have popped his arm back in. It would have been fine. But I like both those guys a lot. I didn't know who I wanted to win that fight. It was a win-win for Royval, though, because he's fighting the number 1 guy. And he's like the number 8 guy. So even if he lost, it would have been good for him. Maybe a rematch down the line? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that because the shoulder injury kind of just ruined that whole fight. But other than that, it was great before it. I thought that it was a great fight before it, but the injury just kind of made that kind of just sad. You know what I mean? I was like, damn. I don't know. I don't know how that fight how it would have went, but what can you do? Injuries happen.
Hey,
Yeah.
one thing that we do know is the champ has spoken, and the champ wants Brandon Moreno next. He called him out by name, and we will get to that later.
Oh yeah. That was good. That was good. That's a good one too.
Most definitely. I'm so excited right now.
You just can't hide it. But yeah, I mean, the injury obviously, it sucks for Royval, but I guess selfishly as fans, I mean, this might as well have been a consensus pick of being, one of the fights of the night. Going into Saturday's event. So,
I thought that for sure. I thought that it started off like that too. I thought, oh, maybe he'll beat the first fight, but then the injury happened. So, yeah, that sucks, man. It just sucks.
So speedy recovery. Oh, I think I actually shared it from his page directly. But the reason why we saw Brandon Royval, kind of being able to, kind of take the L at the center of the octagon is because in between commercial breaks, his coach popped that some bitch right back into place.
That was. Did you see his shoulder go back in after that? I was
Yes.
like, oh, his reaction to his eyes. Oh, oh my god, that was crazy.
He went like Rose, like in the Titanic. He was just like,
Yeah.
like across his
Come
face.
here, child.
Yeah, it was like oh shit. Yeah, I was like, this shit turned into a rom com real quick. Like,
That's shock right there. You go into shock when that happens, bro. And I had to do that to one of my wrestlers one time in a match. He got caught in a half pin, and his shoulder popped out, same exact way bone was all sticking out. And then I was just like, oh my god. And I had to get permission from his parents and everything. I just yanked it back in there. Same exact thing. You can see everything realign. Oh my god, that kid. Oh my god, his face after was so funny. Same exact face and everything.
yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
how does one do this? Because like I mean, is it like a nature thing? I mean, is it something you went to school for? Because I've seen a lot of people that might not have medical degrees, is what I'm saying, right? And they pop shoulders, or even the people themselves, they'll pop their fucking, thumb back into place and shit like that. But where does that come from? Is this like a nature versus nurture thing where, like, if you fucking, step on a jellyfish, you piss on your friend's leg or some shit? Like, what is, like, well, how does this happen? I don't know. I don't know if I knew, like, how to do that. Like, if one of you guys, we were like walking or whatever, and you pop your shoulder out of place, I'm like,
You're
fuck,
screwed.
man.
Sorry, buddy. You're done.
Yeah.
Just have to leave you here. No, you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to have like a medical professor do it. 'Cause if you do it yourself and you do it wrong, you'd hurt yourself more. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just it happens in the wrestling room sometimes, and they'll just be like, "Hey, you're here. I guess I'm gonna have to do it." I don't like doing it. I usually will have someone else do it, but in this case, I kind of had to. It feels nasty for the guy pulling it. I can't imagine how it feels for the other guy. You know what I mean? Like it. Oh god, that must have. He's done it before though. You can tell the coach has probably done that for him in the past. You can tell that he's like he already knew exactly what to do. So this is a reoccurring injury, I think. That was crazy.
Yeah. Most coaches, when you're constant in the wrestling room, this is a constant occurrence in the wrestling room, in the jiu-jitsu room. You see this often. People, sliding their shoulders and all that, fingers or whatever. Something is always coming loose, and you can always slide it back. But it's usually the experienced coaches that have that ability because they've seen it before, they've done it before. It's happened to them. You know what I mean? So like Jess here, he's seen it before. That's why he knew exactly what to do to get it back in. Like me, I've seen it, but I've never really attempted it. So I probably won't attempt it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either, bro. I was like, you can do it. I trust you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, bro, it's gross. I've done it with the fingers, the shoulders, and it's like it happens in the wrestling room or the jiu-jitsu room. It's like you can either go to the doctor and get like casted up or whatever, or I can do this right now and you can come back tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, probably gonna still hurt, but like at least it's in place. You know what I mean? But yeah, like.
Yes.
It's just like, especially in the wrestling, it's like, oh, you're gonna be a pussy about it and just like not show up for a while because you're scared, or you guys let me do it now and you can come back tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of how it is. I've seen that happen a lot. Shoulders. I've seen guys do it to their knees. That's crazy. Like I've been lucky enough to it's only happened to my fingers, so that's not really that big of a deal. You just pop it back in, tape it. You know what I mean? That's not fingers. That's not that big of a deal. But a shoulder, that sucks, man. Like that's your whole arm right there. So yeah, man. Sucks for Brandon, man. I hopefully he comes back soon and can get a win back.
Yeah, absolutely.
The good thing about Brandon Royval is he's a dynamic striker and a very, very good jiu-jitsu artist. He's a balanced MMA fighter. You will see him back for at least 4 more matches.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. They're not getting rid of him anytime soon. His first 2 fights are both fight of the nights and finishes. There's no way they're getting rid of that dude. That guy is way too much of a draw. That would be such a dumb decision on the UFC. They're not that dumb. There's no way. No. I refuse to believe they even consider that.
And he's still growing. He's got room to grow. Lots of room to grow. So they're going to be keeping that guy.
Future champion, possibly, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too.
and we might see that. I mean, if everything kind of plays itself out, we might get a rematch. The rematch that we probably should have gotten if not for the injury, between Moreno and Royval, but it happens for the flyweight title, assuming one of them, kind of unthrones Davidson Figueiredo. So that could happen.
That could also happen. That'd be crazy.
Most def.
So going up the card, and we're going really up in weight in the 205 division, which started out the pay-per-view portion of this 255 card. We had Paul Craig against Mauricio Shogun Rua, which
hurt me to watch, man. I love Shogun. One of the only guys left from the Pride days. I want him to retire so bad. I don't want him to fight again. Like, to tell the truth,
Me too, man.
He did not look like himself at all. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
I know they say Pride never dies, and I still believe that. But at the same time, anyone who fought in Pride, I feel like shouldn't fight anymore. Other than Overeem still looks pretty solid. But like anyone else in that time, Ubereem, yeah. Anyone else in that time, they're just getting hurt over and over again now. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I was hating on Paul Craig this entire card. The way he was disrespecting Shogun, staring him down during the announcements, like, God, I hate this guy. But then when Shogun oil checked Paul Craig, I was like, Shogun,
Yes.
he deserved to lose after that. I was like, bro, that was way too. He got his whole. Did you see the post-fight conference with Paul Craig talking about it? He's like, he felt his whole hand in there, bro. Shogun, why? Yes. I'm talking about that right now, bro. You deserve to get beat up. If you did that to me in a fight and I beat your ass, I'm gonna find you in a parking lot and beat your ass again. Fuck you. You deserve to lose. Fuck. Even if I lost that fight, I would find you in a parking lot and shoot you with a gun. Fuck you. That is fucking disgusting. That should be illegal. That should be illegal, man. That was so, like, he straight up just stuck it in there. I was like, what are you doing, Shogun? What are you doing? That was horrible. That was like graphic. Like, that was like X-rated stuff right there, bro. I shouldn't have seen that on TV, bro. I was
pissed. Yeah. And I mean, John Parker says this one's stung a little bit.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. I mean,
basically, that's what I was like, what am I watching right now? Oh my god, that was so horrible. I was like, what am I watching? Oh my god, I was so mad. I was like, what are you doing? Horrible night for Shogun, for sure.
Yeah.
And Paul Craig.
I mean, theoretically speaking, right? If you're drowning, right, you reach out for a lifeline. And maybe that's what Shogun was doing. Maybe the Bearjaw's asshole was his lifeline. You reach for the brass ring, right? That's
I gotta just get beat up to do that to someone else. I just beat my ass. I'm not gonna do that. Fuck that. Just beat the shit out of me. Oh my god. That was horrible. And he lost. He did it and lost anyways. That was the worst part. Like, bro, we can do some dirty shit like that. At least win. Like, fuck. That was horrible. Freaking, oh my god.
He might have been down to court. Yeah. 100%.
Oh god.
Yeah. So I mean, theoretically speaking, that's all time. That's good. No, but
best comment.
Speaking, right? I mean, if Paul Craig had to make weight for this fight, right, and cut weight, theoretically, this probing should have happened way before, right? That would have made it a little bit easier. Right? Like a colonic. Cruz would get a colonic anyway.
Christ.
An enema, I mean, I don't know.
He was so respectful after the fight, too. Shook his hand and helped him up and everything. I would have been like, fuck that guy. I would have kicked him all years down there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, theoretically speaking, does Paul Craig change his name after this? I mean, because I think being the Bear Jaw kind of, I mean, consent is always sexy, but I'm just, it's like, take a bite out of it. And Shogun just might have just took the bait, is what I'm saying. It's a simple misunderstanding.
I just hope they blur that out on the replays for the children.
Yes. Oh, yes. He was just simply practicing the new UFC medical protocol.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And imagine if the fighter receiving the oil check responded with a smile and a wink.
I want to fight that guy. Damn!
This is fantastic.
Oh my god!
Just saying.
I knew this fight was gonna bring some comments, bro. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. That was oh my god.
Well, what's bad is so the feed that I got actually froze.
Oh.
Yeah.
It froze in there.
Oh my god, that would be worse. You have to just freeze it and see it. Oh my god, that would be horrible. Oh my god.
Yeah,
at that moment, I just knew Shogun has to lose now.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in terms of the fight, right? So obviously, Shogun, former Pride champion, right? And
UFC champion. Yeah.
I mean, soccer kicks, right? Fucking Bob Sapp, who theoretically, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Bob Sapp over the weekend. Did you see what Bob Sapp was doing? He was in Thailand, right? Bob Sapp was in Thailand for Cam Soda, the pre
Yeah.
pre OnlyFans. They were doing fights.
Yeah.
They hosted the second, fight circus in Thailand. Actually, our good friend Bob Fischer of Pupil Picks is over there now, and he was shooting live and all that jazz. But Cam Soda essentially had fights, and for whatever reason, Bob Sapp. There was a point, and I put it on Twitter, right? Bob Sapp essentially was there, and he looks like the Michelin Man. He looks like it's just it hasn't the years and the lack of steroids hasn't been good to one Bob Sapp, right? So I mean, how can you be 6'8", 320 with abs? That was pride. That was pride, right? So I mean, Bob Sapp essentially is there, and there's a bunch of maybe some sex workers, right? 3 in the ring in Thailand and whatever. And he literally utters like, "I'm just here to bust a nut." That's what Bob Sapp says, and he punches this guy. I don't fucking know. But again, this is the prime. Bob Sapp existed in the prime of Shogun Rua, right? Soccer kicks and fucking, Kevin Randleman slams of Fedor. Like, that's fun. The fact that Shogun Rua, former UFC light heavyweight champion, essentially tapped to strikes.
Like downfall.
Like, that breaks your heart a little bit.
It did. It hurt me a little bit.
It
hurt me a little bit to see that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, Shogun, what happened? Like,
Shogun did express. He did express that he was injured in that fight.
Yeah, he got hurt in the first round. He said.
Which is what led him to tap into strikes instead of taking more damage at such a disadvantage point. He just figured, just let the fight go. He's already lost anyway. He's too injured to put up an adequate fight, so he just let it go.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an unfortunate end, but fuck, man, he's only 38. again, to put it into perspective, right? Alan Jouban turns 39 this
Oh,
week.
that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. But
Jouban is older than Shogun.
Shogun been fighting his whole life, man.
Not
That's
eight,
just
Right.
damaging.
18
No,
years
100%.
old.
Yeah, like
18
that's
years old.
yeah.
He was in Pride at 19 or something like that. He was
Yeah,
in
like
Pride at like 19 years old.
yeah, like it's different. Like I feel like the fighting aged him much quicker than it would have Jouban. You know what I mean? Because he was fighting that whole time, so he aged like double as fast as Jouban just from the years of, especially the way he fights, man. The way fucking Shogun fights, he doesn't. There's no. It's always war. There's never been like a fight where Shogun doesn't really get hit a little bit, unless he finishes the guy right off the bat. But for the most part, he's always like just straight up scrapping with some dude. That's just the way he fights. So the damage just adds up after a while. And like that's why I want to see him retire. Dana White said it too. I think Dana White said try to like get him out of there. Like I don't want to see him fight again. I've been saying that for a long time. So I said that after Anthony Smith knocked him out. So
okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with both of you. I'm with both of you 100%. But a company like the UFC, $4 billion or whatever they've amounted. Now you have a fella like Shogun Rua. You have a fella like Anderson Silva. And you want these people to retire. Okay. I mean, what about the severance package? Do you have something, a nice little package prepared for them to send them off with? You know what I'm saying? You can't just ask them to retire when these people got to feed their families, right? So it is the UFC's responsibility to take care of, especially champions like these guys that we're talking about. Champions, Hall of Famers. Okay, you don't want to do that for everybody? Okay, I understand. But these guys have been fighting 20 years, 15 to 20 years. Anything over 10 years, you should have a severance package for them.
For sure. I see. I didn't even think about that. Like, what are they gonna do after? You know what I mean? That's perfect. That's exactly like you gotta give them something. Like maybe some of these guys are even fighting just because they don't have money. That's maybe the fucked up part of it. They're just like, I have to fight. Maybe I don't even want to fight. I just have to because I have no other way to support myself and my family. I mean, yeah, you can go to coaching or open up your own gym and stuff like that. But I feel like the UFC should be helping them with that because it's like they've been putting their bodies and their lives in the line for that long for you, making you that much money. You can't give something back to them. You know what I mean? Like, especially Shogun. Like, make him a commentator for Brazil, like some Portuguese commentary or something. Do something for that guy, because it's like he's been putting it on the line for a long time, and you could obviously tell that he has taken a lot of damage over the years. Like, he deserves something to make him like reconsider not fighting anymore. Like, hey, maybe I shouldn't fight anymore. Maybe I can just do this now. You know what I mean? But yeah, like even Silva, like Silva's trying to fight again. Maybe that's the reason why he just doesn't have enough money or something. Hopefully that's not the reason why. But we don't know. So.
Silva's different. Silva has a different issue. Silva, he said, "Cool," and I quote him. He says, "I still got the fire." He said they tried to take me and make me stop, but I don't want to stop because I still got the fire. This is what I do. I love what I do, and I want to continue what I'm doing. So okay, his situation is different, and Silva has made millions of dollars in the UFC. Maybe he's at least let's say he's made $5 million. Let's say he's made $5 million. Okay, let's say that after taxes, $2 million cash. That's a lot of money. Well, for fighting in the UFC, that's a lot of money, right?
Especially at this time, yeah.
That's something that you could do something with that, right? But the guy doesn't want to stop fighting. He enjoys what he's doing. In the last match, he said, "I made technical errors. I could have done something better." So he feels he's still able to compete at the highest level with these guys. It just happens that it won't be happening in the UFC. Maybe Bellator might pick him up. Maybe one championship might pick him up. But he ain't going to die in the UFC cage, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I just don't want to see them be getting hurt no more. It's like you're not in your prime anymore. Like, it's just kind of hard to see those guys get beat up. Or like the BJ Penn kind of stuff. Like, bro, just stop. You're just going there and getting beat up for no reason now. You've already proven it. You've done what you could. You can't do anymore. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Harvey says, in his opinion, Shogun needs a retirement fight sponsored by Jiffy Lube.
Oh,
Christ.
Harvey going hard.
Yeah, damn right. That's a good brother right there. And John Parker says, I'd send Shogun Rua to Bellator or BKFC, make some big money, and then retire. And you know what? Actually, since you brought up Anderson Silva, I think he goes to, especially since Radum, just signed with him. He goes to, professional PFL, right? The Professional Fighters League. I think that's it, and I do 4 fights. You might be a tournament, or at the very least, you're entered in whatever weight division. Let's say Anderson Silva in a middleweight, title, what $1 million tournament, right? Fuck. You swear to God that's not going to get more views than what the Professional Fighters League has right now?
Yeah.
Like, I think that'll work. And I mean, he might get a KO that might let him out of his contract, but he could also win. So I don't know. I don't want to see either. Obviously, it's situations and scenarios such as this is why we got Tito and Chuck 3, right? When that was one of the biggest casualties of, UFC basically being bought out by, William Morris Endeavor or WME was the fact that, basically Dana White was paying Chuck. He was on the payroll to just stay retired. And once that merger happened and once that purchase happened, that Chuck Liddell paycheck, c'est la vie. And that's why we got Tito Chuck 3. So, yeah, I don't want to see it. Just call it a day. And these guys have two qualities, so going down a level to, to say Bellator is open to them, or a couple huge pay fights, which, I mean, theoretically, Scott Coker, the matchmaker and I guess would be the president of Bellator, has said on record he doesn't want Silva. He doesn't want to see that. So, I mean, that's like I said. I say Anderson, if he does fight again, he's going to fight at PFL. That's what I think.
Well, this is also a very good example for all new young fighters up and coming that hasn't really made good money yet. Do not waste your money. Do not blow your money on fancy shoes and fancy clothes. Those things have an expiration date. Use your money wisely. Put your money in some investment. Make your money work for you, so you don't have to be in this situation where you're fighting at 40 years old.
For sure.
Yeah, that's So just stop, please. And from the fighter's voice, Don McGuire says, "What's up? What's up, good sir? How are you? Hope everything is well with you." But so there's that. I don't think there's too much to say. We covered oil checks and tapping. Due to so yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, but even, I mean, it was infinitely more interesting than our next fight, which Caitlin Chukugian, right, against Cynthia Calvillo.
Well, Chukagian went in there and established reach advantage right away. Right away. She let it be known that I'm the bigger person in this ring. Take this jab, take this kicks, take this and take that, and stay back until I win. Okay? You just stay right there where I want you. Stay right there until I win. Okay, good. She established that, and it was done deal. What will say you, Jesse?
Same thing. She was just a step ahead the whole fight. Kept her at her range, and Cynthia could never figure it out. She had like one takedown like in the beginning of the first round, but did nothing with it. And it just looked like Cynthia just couldn't find her range, just got stuck. And that was the whole fight, basically. I didn't feel like there was any time when she thought maybe she might get finished or anything. It was just like, I'm going to keep you out here with my range. You're just going to stay out there and not be able to come in the whole fight. That fight, I'm not going to lie, wasn't the most interesting. I mean, hey, blonde fighter, pretty good. I can see her challenging Valentina again. She ain't going to beat her, but I can see her challenging her again. But yeah,
she needs at least 2 more fights before she can see Valentina.
The gap is too big. I know she just lost to Andrade. Too much. I forgot about that. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't most interesting. Good performance by Valentina. I mean, not Valentina, by blonde fighter, but yeah, it wasn't. It was basically what Ludo said. Just got her range, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
but I mean,
we still
one thing that
we still need to see Chukagian, Jennifer Maia too, before we can even see the
Who?
champ. She's got to
Oh
beat
man.
Jennifer Maia clean.
Yeah.
Chukagian. They fought before.
Yeah.
Jennifer Maia won. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she has to beat Jennifer Maia clean before she can see the champ.
Yeah, I feel like the Chukogi might even become that fighter. Like, if you beat her, you get the title shot, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because Maya beat her, got a title shot, and then Andrade beat her. She's probably getting the next title shot. So it's like, yeah, they're just getting fed the Valentina to me at this point.
yeah, I mean, and remember, Chikugian just got a title shot. She got one in February.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. She's been pretty active.
Yeah, I mean, so she's fought what 4 times this year? Yeah,
Man,
4 times this year.
That's
She
crazy.
she had the title shot in February, where Valentina got her the ground and pound from Crucifix, right? And then she went up against Antonina. She wins by unanimous decision and loses to Jessica Andrade, and then wins over Cavillo. So she fought 4 times. So not many memorable ones, but still, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's just her style. She's a technical fighter. I mean, I like it. It was cool. There was just no danger of the fight ending. It was just her keeping her out. Perfect fight for her, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
She was in there. She was in there to make sure she gets the W, so she can get right back on track to get that belt, another title shot. So that's her main priority right now. She's not here. Chukagian is not here to entertain us right now. She's here to stack up wins, to be eligible to go for the title once more. And I'm not even mad at her performance, man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't up to her to be the one to shine. It was up to Cynthia Calvillo to go out there and make an impression. They've been able to do that. So Chukagian, her performance was adequate in my book.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, to kind of pivot a little bit, right? Don McGuire says, "What about AJ McKee in Bellator? Was that not immaculate?"
Oh,
Fuck.
that was
Yeah.
crazy, man. That was crazy. I trained with both those guys in the past, man. I was like, so like, what's the word for it? Like, I didn't know, man. I was just like, that was a hard fight for me to choose because I like both those dudes. I was just hoping it would be longer. I didn't think that McKee was going to be able to do that to Cadwell. And like, McKee just showed that he's a legitimate contender. If you can do that to someone like Cadwell, one of the best guys in Bellator, like, you're up there, man. It's so hard to see anyone beating Pitbull because Pitbull is a murderer right now. But man, after that performance, I think AJ actually has a pretty good shot at beating Pitbull now. I was just like, man, I've never seen anyone do that to Cadwell before. I know Cadwell, I feel like maybe might end up going back down to bantamweight after that fight because I feel like he was really undersized. AJ's pretty big, and Cadwell really small to me. And I trained with him in the same room before, and I even thought that when I saw them. I was like, man, Cadwell's actually a lot smaller than McKee. It's kind of crazy they're fighting in the same weight class. And then, yeah, man, I was just like, man, that was a hard one for me to watch. That's for sure. I was like, damn, that was so quick. Caught him in such a weird submission, too.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a neck crank. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna be able to hold his head up for the next few months.
That looked like it hurt, and he fought it for a while. I was like, man, you're gonna break your back, bro. I would have been like, nope, you got me. I'm at it. That's fine, bro. I fucking was fine. Nope.
Yeah.
Hey, it's quite clear that AJ McKee is a legit mixed martial artist, a complete fighter. His father before him was a complete fighter, and then he's taken all his knowledge, passed it into his son. His son never having to learn from any mistakes because he taught him everything the right way. Now he's in Bellator. He's shining like never before. I believe the young man's undefeated, some 13-0,
Yeah, 17-0.
Yeah, he hasn't lost once.
Down there, everything's a finish. You know, the man is ready for the big time. Give the man this title shot and let's see him shine. And if he wins, if he beats Pitbull, man, right to the UFC, man, go get another title shot at whatever weight class he's in.
He's marketable for sure. He's marketable. Like, that's for sure.
Indeed.
That's a Bellator title, $1 million too. And then if they got into the UFC, he's a 145 pounder. I can see him fighting Holloway. That would be fucking cool. Holloway. Oh, that would be a great
Easy.
fight. I would love to see that.
Easy.
So yeah,
Easy.
everything's going up for him. But Pitbull, man, Pitbull, like the Bellator champs, I feel like are really underrated because they're in Bellator. There's a couple of those guys I feel like who compete at the top level of the UFC, and Pitbull is one of them, bro. Pitbull is a monster. So we're gonna see. I want to see how that fight goes. It's gonna be great.
Now,
Yeah, I
Don
would love to
McGuire
see
says
it. I would love to see it.
17-0, and he thinks he takes Pitbull in 2 rounds.
Oh man.
By submission. On the ground. I see him going on the ground.
Yeah, I can see him
Yes,
submitting
I
Pitbull.
totally agree. I see it too. I mean, wait, hey, you know that this man has dynamite in his hands, and you're standing and fighting him. I don't understand why these people continue to make this mistake. Why stand with him? Immediately you go for that takedown. As soon as possible, you go for that takedown. But to test their prowess, they want to see how good they are. You know what I mean? The ego gets in the way, and they don't do what's logical. You know what I mean? When you're in there in such danger, you got to think like Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu says, when my opponent has a high ground, I'm going to get away. You know what I mean? When he has a low ground and I have the high ground, then I'm going to fight, right? You got to think strategic. You got to think. I understand when you're in there, strategy goes out the window. But at the same time, this is your consciousness that you're putting on the line. If you're going to put your consciousness on the line against someone with dynamites in their hands, I suggest think logically and don't fight standing. Take them to the ground as soon as possible. Put them on the fence and grind them out and do something. Don't just stand in the middle of the center field and want to strike with a guy with dynamites in it. It's like going to a battle with someone with a shotgun and you got a knife. Them buckshots
No
gonna
chance.
tear your ass up straight up.
Yeah, for sure. But like, he's a good grappler too, and I know he's had trouble with wrestlers in the past. But ever since he started training with Henry Cejudo, probably one of the best wrestlers in MMA, I haven't really seen anyone even getting close to taking him down. Like he fought Archuleta the fight before his last one. Archuleta's a freaking amazing wrestler. Did not even get close to one takedown. Like it wasn't even not even close. Every time he shot, it was like, nope, get off me. I'm just gonna hit you. And he's a black belt jiu-jitsu.
Okay,
he's been a black belt for a long time
that's true.
too. So it's like, man.
That is very true. That is very, very true. But in all of Archuleta's attempts, did he get knocked out?
No, that's true. He got rocked a couple times, but he didn't get knocked out.
Did he get battered? I mean, he walked out of there, man. He walked out of there.
Yeah,
he was
that's
conscious
true.
when he walked out of there.
Yeah, so no one else was.
The level of damage, the level of damage that you're gonna take against Pitbull goes significantly low because of engaging in wrestling. Because you keep his hands occupied. If he can keep his hands occupied, put his hands on defense instead of offense, then you have a chance of walking out of there alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to sleep.
Like his last fight where he killed that Pedro Carvalho guy. Why are you standing with Pitbull, bro? That is like the dumbest. He was trying to strike with him, like, bro, you dumb? You trying to die? What's wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? Oh, he got caught with the overhand right. Like, yep, he's done. This wasn't even a fight. It was just like a murder. I was like, bro, oh my god, it was horrible. Dude, sheep in there with a lion.
Hey,
I was like,
did you see what Pitbull said after that match? He called out AJ McKee. I can beat him in less than 1 round. I beat him in 1 round. He said I smash him. I would destroy him in 1 round. He's calling out AJ McKee and he feels he can beat him in 1 round. This is amazing. I want to see this fight right now. Now. On the highest level.
One of the most exciting Bellator fights in the world, that's for sure. I feel like that can even keep up with some of the UFC fights, though. That's a good fight. I like that fight.
Most definitely. That fight, that's a top 5 type match right there. Top 5 in the UFC type competition.
Yeah,
right there.
For sure.
So they are, they got something there. They just got to promote it really, really well.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Don says AJ has won the last 2 of his 4 matches off of his back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel that Archuleta has the power.
Not at 145. He's made some guys out at 35, but at 145, those guys are a little too big. I feel like he looked better at 35. Yeah, that's for sure. I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah, and
Archuleta can outgrind folks at 45.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, AJ coming into his man strength, he's only 25 years old.
That's crazy. I know. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's not even, in his prime yet. I feel bad for those guys fighting him, bro. Stay out of his division.
The UFC is his future. The
Yeah, I think
UFC is
that
his future.
they're gonna
It's
get
easy.
him eventually. He fits there too for sure. Same thing with Chandler. If they got Chandler, they're gonna get McKee next. I think they're gonna eventually get McKee.
I don't know. I think yeah. There I think Antonio McKee is wise, to not let there's I don't know how I can say it best, but I mean essentially what Dana White tries to do and bully people, he's not going to be able to do
Oh
with
yeah,
AJ because
yeah,
he's got
yeah,
his father, his father's dealt with Dana White,
yeah,
so
yeah,
before Dana White was Dana White. So just just saying.
yeah.
So I mean, not
He's gonna be safe. Yeah, that's just
yeah.
like a
So not to say
billion-dollar
that,
contract.
yeah, exactly, and that you could stay. I mean that here's $1 million, stay. But I think the most egregious thing about this is the fact that again, so in terms of let's look at it this way. There have been people that have gotten Bellator title shots with less records, like not even 17 fights in their career, let alone 17 wins. I think it's kind of egregious that it's taken AJ this long to get a title shot. Now, I
Yeah,
love about the slow, you know,
the slow
building
build-up.
pace,
Yeah,
whatever, but like, it shouldn't have taken this long. And by tournament, like he should have gotten a title shot. If you don't get a title shot with a 17-0 record, most of that under the Bellator banner, then what are we doing? Right? You promote your homegrown guy and say this is our champion and whatever. So, I love the idea of AJ, you know, being the champion of Bellator. I would have liked to have one fight happen, not the tournament. But it just shows you, you know, AJ, in terms of his mindset. He said, I will walk through the fire and I'm going to come out not only with the belt, but $1 million. So,
yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. I think is the $1 million. So I think that's kind of why he was like, man, I'm gonna go for that. That's for
yeah.
sure.
And he says that Antonio held back on moving AJ forward, right? But that's where the slow simmering process, like a stew, like a fine soup, that's where that takes a place, right? Where, the fact that AJ was able to develop even more so because obviously with his father, he's been in mixed martial arts for the better part of most of his life. So, but again, we're still seeing this maturation of process, and you apparently he was set up for a title shot, then they dropped the tournament and it pissed AJ off. But AJ is definitely proven that, hey, I don't care what you pull in front of me, fuck it, let's do it. I don't care. I'll win. I'll win. I win. Hell yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, I actually won with this next fight. This is my favorite fight of the night because I just fucking don't like Mike Perry. I just don't.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't happy with them this fight either, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love this fight. I love this fight. So again, for those who don't know, I actually got kicked out of the Palms Casino during the last Ultimate Fighter, finale because I didn't have credentials and I interviewed Tim Means with none other than Blake Bulletproof Troop being my cameraman, right? So he's cool enough and he'll drop by the Instagram and like a couple photos. So I'm all Tim Means. Team Dirty Bird. Like total disclosure, Team Dirty Bird. But especially even more so now because he beat the fuck out of Mike Perry, who's a damn psychopath. So stop psychopath.
Hey,
Yeah,
not
Perry
not
is a joke.
not
He's a
only did he
joke.
beat him, not did he beat him. Not only did he beat Mike Perry, he got 30% of his pay too.
Yeah, man. Like Perry messed up so bad this time, bro. Like I don't know. I hate guys like Perry, but I love his fighting style. It's really exciting. But when he missed weight and then dabbed on the weight scale, they even asked him like, "How close are you to weight?" He's like, "Not even close." And then dabbed. I was like, "Bro, you're being a clown right now, bro. What are you doing?" Like, that was so dumb. But the fact that he's such a character, even when he was walking into the cage, they weren't even talking about how he missed weight. They were just talking about how funny he was because they picked the wrong fight song wrong and he was singing into it anyways. And I was like, did you guys completely forget that he missed weight and he was a total dick about it? Like, they just completely forgot. It's just because he's such a character. Dana White just kept talking about how he's a fun dude. It's like, bro, yeah, he's a fun dude, but he's unprofessional as fuck. He was eating ice cream and burgers a week before his fight and then couldn't make weight afterwards because of it. Like, bro, like, you're a professional fighter, bro. What are you doing? And, like, I know it was still an exciting fight either way, and he still looked pretty decent, even though he missed weight horribly. I just, like, man, like, I just wasn't happy with Perry. Like, man, I thought he looked good. His ground game looked pretty decent, actually, that first round. And I'm really happy Means beat him the way he did. He basically beat him at his own game, stood in front of him and just beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Which I thought was really cool. I kind of felt like he deserved that after missing weight like that. You know what I mean? But, yeah, it was a good fight, though. I'm really happy Means won. I really wanted Means to win. I thought he was in trouble at first, but I was like, okay, thank God Means came back and just Perry's a tough motherfucker, dude. He was just taking hits and hits and hits. Like that's all he really could do though. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like Perry's just not gonna go anywhere. I feel like he's just that guy they're gonna keep because he's exciting, and I feel like he's never gonna go anywhere just to keep him because he's exciting. You know what I mean? What do you
He's
think?
the perfect gatekeeper.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the perfect gatekeeper, man. Perry's the perfect gatekeeper. But unfortunately for him, he lacks leadership. The idea that he's put forth, I love the idea of being an independent, right? The idea of being an entrepreneur fighter. I like that. But at the same time, you need guidance. He actually needs guidance. You know what I'm saying? He needs someone to organize his plans for him, and he's not doing that. That's not happening right now. He like coaching. The coaches will help you organize your weight and all that, what you eat and all that. He wants to do that on his own, which is fine. You can do that on your own. But if you lack the ability, get some help. Get some help and get it quickly. And this is missing, right? I like the idea of being an independent, but at the same time, if you are unable to be independent, then perhaps you should get some assistance.
For sure. He just doesn't want to spend the money or something like that. He's saying he spent too much in cornering, and these guys don't help me anyways, but they do help you. The last fight he had a corner in was against Vicente Luque. And I actually thought he won that fight. And Vicente Luque is like a top 10 contender now. And like that tells me that last fight that he actually looked super good to me was probably that fight. And he had the corner, he had everything. And then that was the fight he decided he didn't want that anymore, which I thought was crazy. I thought he looked better than he ever did that fight. So I was just like, I don't know, man. That guy's crazy, man. I feel like he's losing it. And I feel like the UFC is kind of refusing to see it just because he's fun and he brings in money. Even I was like low-key excited for his fight just because I know Perry's crazy. And someone always gets hurt when he fights, even him. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, man. He's just a weird case where it's just like, man, like they're just gonna keep him for that reason.
Yeah, it seems that Mike Perry is a different individual in the boardroom. I think he's different. I think he puts on a show in front of the cameras, and we see a different person. I believe that when the cameras are off, there's someone different there. This is why the UFC is keeping them around. Otherwise, they don't want any problem. You know what I'm saying? They don't want any problem. He's had too many cases with the law, and yet he remains. The fact that he remains means there's something going on that we are not exposed to, that we are not able to see. And I truly believe that he's got some common sense when the cameras are off. He only acts this way when the cameras are on, so he could build the persona of the Platinum Mike Perry.
For sure. It's exactly what it is. I mean, like, even like Dana White just talking about, he's a fun fighter. Like, yeah, but he's missing weight by 4.5 pounds, dude. Like, that's not professional. Like, you're the UFC. You shouldn't have guys be doing that.
Yeah.
Especially the acting way he did after. Like, he wasn't even ashamed about it. I was like, bro, like, you're a dick. like, what else are you supposed to say about that? Like, bro, like,
yeah,
man, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know what to say about that dude. Happy he lost, though. That's all I can say.
Well, he paid 30 G's. He paid $30,000 for missing weight. So, you know, what else gonna be said? That's a lot of money, man. $30,000 is a lot of money out of your pay. And then on top of that, he didn't get a win bonus. He didn't get a win bonus.
Yeah.
You know?
So it was all losses
So
for
he's
him,
gonna be
basically.
hurting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so fuck, and in breaking news, Don McGuire on the Fighter's Voice. Don McGuire is having Tim the Dirty Bird Means on his show on Sunday. So
Oh,
definitely check
nice.
out Don McGuire and on all of his social media to figure out where you can find the Fighter's Voice. I will be listening. You guys should
Cool.
too. 100%. And he says, I would love to come on your show soon, brother. Dude, I'm just saying, come on. I want to be like
Yeah.
Roddy from The Price is Right. Come on down. Come on down, And Mike Perry is the UFC's next John Jones. John Jones is more talented.
Yeah, John Jones is the champ. Never lost. That's the crazy thing about it. Like, Mike Perry's not even doing that. That's the crazy. Like, at least Jones kind of low-key kind of has, like, an excuse. Like, oh, I'm, like, the GOAT. You know what I mean? But, like, Perry's just, like, I don't even know what's up going on with Perry. That's the crazy thing. Like, man, I feel like he hurts the UFC more than anything, to tell the truth. He brings them money, but, like, other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. Boo. Fuck. I mean, yeah, Mike Perry fucking. Oh no, sarcasm. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Fuck Mike Perry. Fuck Mike Perry. Fuck Mike Perry. That's all I gotta say about them. You know? Like, and even him losing, like I'm kind of like, right? Because he blamed his last fiance, right? About him him losing the last time, and she was his coach and whatever, right? And then now, he's got the new girl with a baby on the way, and he took an L, right? So I just, especially with the horrible things that his ex basically, obviously it's alleged due to the fact that it's not proven in court or whatever, but like Mike Perry, if you believe that deal, much like what you were saying about like turning it on and off for the cameras, uh, there was no cameras theoretically when he punched that dude at the bar, so I don't know. I just don't like Mike Perry. I'm not a fan of people with their tattooed faces if you're not a member of a tribe. Like if you're like a Paramount High Chief, fucking tattoo your face with whale's tooth. If you got fucking ice cream on your fucking face, get the fuck out of here. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm glad to Tim Dirty Bird Means won. Fuck yeah. Check him out on all of his social media. He fucking looked awesome. So just saying. He got tagged quite a bit, but he fucking came away with the win, and hopefully he gets rid of fucking Mike Perry. Take fucking what's his name? Greg Hardy, whatever, Greg Hardy with him. Just fucking all Fight Island, and I don't want anyone watching. Fucking put him up with I want Mike Perry versus fuck. Who can we put? Mike Perry versus Chris Cyborg. Right? That's what I want to see. Mike Perry versus Chris Cyborg. And then yeah, and then let's do all TRT Fedor against Greg Hardy. That's what I want to fucking see. What I want to see. Book it, David. Book it. I'm just saying. But now we are at the tournament of living. We have the women's flyweight championship of the world being defended. The challenger, Jennifer Maia, who before this fight was 18-6, right? Representing Brazil against Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko, who was 20-2 prior to this. But fuck. Maia, good on her for not giving up, right? Showing that Bushido spirit and whatever. But my goodness, she lost many a brain cell proving her worth.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Oh, man.
Hey, now I see why her face looked like that. It's custom made for a beating. You know what I mean? It's kind of puffy. You know what I'm saying? It's not that she's fat, but she's got this chunky cheeks. You know what I'm saying? It's good for taking impact. You know what I'm saying? That's why she never went out. She got hit hard. Those 1-2s kept coming all night. 1-2, hit the corner. 1-2, hit the corner. 1-2, hit the corner. It worked the entire time. And when 1-2, when her hand started hurting, she went for the takedown, powered the takedown, those hip tosses, slammed her on her back, kept her on the ground. I mean, actually, Jennifer Maia had a successful groundwork in the first quarter. You know what I mean? She had the champ down. She held it down for like 4 minutes or so, and then after that, the champ took over and just ran right over her, man. Hey, like they say, man, there's levels to this. And Valentina Shevchenko was able to take that fight to 3 notches above Jennifer Maia. Jennifer ain't ready. Nobody's ready. Not right now.
Big facts, man. I hated the fact that they kept trying to make it seem like it was competitive, especially during that second round. But Valentina messed up and got hit on her back that second round, and they're talking like, "Oh, she's doing so great. Oh my God, she won a round." I'm like, bro, like she messed up for like a minute, and you're acting like this fight's competitive. Stop selling it. We all know Valentina's beating the shit out of her. Look at her face. Like it was so annoying. They're just talking about like, oh, that's how good Valentina is, though. When anyone does anything to her, like offensively, they're like, oh my God, she's doing good. But in reality, she was just getting her ass beat. Respect to Jennifer, though. She took shots better than anyone else. I mean, we also happen to I hate bringing this up again. We also happened to Jessica I when she got hit. Jennifer Maia took those hits and was just like right in the chops, was just like, what's up with it? Like I respected her for that, but like that fight was not a contest at all. And I was getting so annoyed by the commentary team talking about how good she was doing. I'm like, okay, yeah, she's doing good, but she wasn't even doing good, but it was like, okay, she had a little offense. She's still getting dominate the whole fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like she was still getting controlled. Those takedowns were just absolutely perfect too. And it was just like, man, like, how can you say that she's even doing anything? Like, she's just getting ragdolled. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was almost like a sliding scale, right? Like, did you die? Okay. You did good. Right?
They were like bringing up the odds, like, oh, someone always like comes up and like beats the champion or whatever. And I'm like, that's not this fight. This is not happening in this fight. She's getting tagged up. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, man. Like,
yeah. And Don McGuire says, y'all rock. I'm glad you got the story. Mayhem Miller, which, I mean, if anything that Mike Perry could be compared to, I would say it would be Mayhem Miller. And again, don't cheer Mike Perry on. We know how this story ends, right? It's somewhere in between Mayhem Miller and War Machine. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck Mike Perry. That's what I'm saying. You know? But in terms of visuals, right? I mean, what Voodoo Maximus just described in Jennifer Maia's face.
Oh my God!
Right? Chubby cheeks. You just want to punch in the face. Oh!
Yeah, I mean, completely right. Like, yeah, just that's exactly what it was. I think Voodoo Mystic is his dog.
Show me again.
Cool dog, by the way.
Crazy dog, man. Puffy cheeks.
That's what you said. And I was like, did you just call her fucking Chippendale Rescue Rangers? Shit.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw her come in. It's like, man, this girl looks like she can take a punch to the face. I don't know why. That's the first thing I thought. Like, man, she looks like she can take a mean shot to the head. And it's exactly what happened all night.
Dude, but
like
you see her
big face, the big old neck rolls.
Have you seen her boyfriend / head coach?
Yeah, that big giant dude.
Fucking gorilla. He's like Jeff Monson. He's like a big Joe Rogan.
He kept telling her, hey, you need to go first. You need to go first. She's over there like, okay, you go first.
Yeah. So
you could over get hit by a bullet.
Yeah. So just saying. I mean, kudos to Valentina. I mean, I don't think that there's anybody in the division. Wait, it's like Roxanne Modafferi here. Like, I think Valentina's faced her, right? something.
Not yet,
Like
but Roxanne hasn't earned a
who's there
shot yet.
for?
So
Yeah, I mean, wins
I don't
over
want to see that.
Holly Holm.
I don't want to see that.
I like Roxanne. She's my favorite fighter in that division. I don't want to
I
see her
like
get hurt.
Roxanne.
Don't let her fight her.
I don't want
Yeah.
to see her. Don't put her in a championship match. I like Roxanne. This is why I don't want to see her in a championship match.
Exactly.
Because
I don't want
her
to see her get
style-
hurt. Fuck that.
Her style is custom made for the champ to destroy and paint a castle with her blood. You don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
The only good girl fight, I mean, like the good challenge for Valentina I see right now is Amanda Nunes. That's the only one I can see. That's the only fight I can actually see being competitive with the champs. And I thought Valentina beat her both times they fought. So it's like, to me,
I
that's
agree
why
with
it's gonna
you.
be a great fight.
I
Yeah,
agree with you.
exactly.
I
So
agree
it's
with
like,
you.
I feel like Valentina should
agree.
be the go-to women right now, not Amanda. But Amanda won the 45-pound belt too, though. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that's 125 and 135-pound division for women are least competitive, I think, just because the champions are so far ahead. I like the 115-pound division the most for the girls, to tell the truth. That's a really good weight class. But for those two divisions for the women, I feel like the only fight left for them is each other, Amanda and Valentina. That's the only fight I can really see being competitive right now.
Mm-hmm. Me too, man. I totally agree with you. I'm looking forward to that super match, that rematch.
I hope it happens soon, man.
I think Amanda realizes that Valentina will actually beat her the third time. That's why she's trying to get out of there, trying to retire before the idea could come up. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I already felt like she beat her twice, especially that second fight. I was really surprised she lost that second fight. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like that would be a really good fight. Just take my money.
Most
like,
done.
dude, that's just take it.
Me too.
That's my
Me too, man. Me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
so
I
mean, there's that, you know. So I mean, I almost feel like we were the Aztecs or some shit. We sacrificed Jennifer Maya for the god that is Valentina Shevchenko. Like
Yeah.
you just fucking sacrifice your ass for a co-main event. Like that's. I feel fucking dirty.
That's every fight with her now, though. I just feel bad for the girls fighting
Straight
her
up.
at this point. Like, man, like, do you really want to fight her? If I was a chick, I would have went to the division. But no, I'm out there 25. Nope, I'm out there in 35. 15, yeah, I'll try that. But even then, I don't want to fight that. I don't want to fight Zay Lee either. So it just sucks to be a girl right now. It just sucks to be a girl fighting right now.
Hey man,
yes.
Hey, those girls better price themselves out. Don't say no, but price yourself out. Give me 10 million.
Get some money if you can get beat up. At least make some money. Like at least make something. Like, man, because that's an ass whooping. That's for sure. Like if you ain't, oh my god, man. I feel like at least the 115-pound division is at least a little competitive. Like I thought Joanne did really well against Zay Lee when they fought, but like
yes, beautiful
with Valentina and Amanda, I don't think any of their fights have been competitive at all. So it's just like,
hey, I actually thought Joanna won that fight.
It was close. Yeah, I could have seen that going either. I wouldn't have been mad at Joanne won, but I wasn't even mad that Zay Lee won either because it was so close.
Joanna mixed up a lot better. She threw high, medium, and low shots. Yeah, she had a swollen, huge
the damage.
hematoma.
That's what it was.
She looked worse.
Yeah,
but it was just one punch that did that. It was one punch that caused that swelling. One well-placed punch that caused that swelling.
But
so
judges,
you know,
if it's close and they look at each other's faces, they're thinking like, look at this huge thing coming out of her head.
Yeah.
And look at this girl. That's what I think it was, because that thing was almost worse than Mark Hominick when he fought Jose Aldo. It was almost that bad.
Way worse. 5 times worse.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it was worse. It was her whole head was swollen, man. It looked like this.
Yeah.
It looked like this.
She probably had a headache the next morning. That's for sure.
Hey, more than a headache. Hey, her whole face was a black eye. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Everything was purple.
I saw her Instagram story after. I was like, "Oh man,
yeah,
man, that's the price of a war right there." That's
And speaking of Zhang Wei Li, do you see her Instagram? Every single day she's doing some kind of sick ass training. Every single day of the week she's training. The lady is an assassin. She is no different from that. Oh, that's a fight we need to see right there. Valentina Shevchenko versus her. That's a fight we need to see right there. Two assassins. All they do is train.
Yeah.
Two assassins facing each other. I want to see that match.
She has to move up though. I don't think Valentina could drop to 15.
Yeah, she's going up. Yeah. It's only right. It's only right that she goes up to Shevchenko because Shevchenko went up to Amanda Nunes, who is the more established fighter.
Yeah.
Valentina is a more established fighter here, so it's only right that Zhang Weili moves up to see the Valentina champion.
I would pay to see that too. That would be a great fight.
Oh my god.
No, they're both no nonsense, dude. There's no TikTok. There's no freaking, clout posts. It's all just, hey, this is how I murder people. You know what I mean?
Only
Like,
war.
Yeah.
Only war. It's gonna be Hearns versus Hagler. Straight up.
That would be awesome. That would be
straight up.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. That would be a great fight.
Yeah. Well, Don McGuire says Miranda Maverick.
She did look pretty good her last fight, though.
That's true.
She's gonna need some time before she's ready for like a top.
Yeah.
But I can see her getting there. But
she's on her way.
Right now, she's gonna need some time. I don't see anyone beating them girls.
She is on her way. She is on her way. I'll give you that. She's on her way.
She looks really good though. She has a lot of potential for sure.
So I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I think we're here. I think we're at the main event of the evening. We have the contender, Alex Perez versus Davidson Figueiredo, who looks like a fucking half-eaten snow cone, the fucker.
Woo! That's a good one.
Give me one reason why I should like Davidson Figueiredo.
I'm matter of fact, I was not happy with the result of the fight. That's for damn sure.
And it's funny, right? Because like I mean, think of Mighty Mouse, right? We had Mighty Mouse. It took a dip with fucking Cejudo, and then we've got back to douchebaggery, right? Like 2 douchebag champions back to back, Cejudo and Figueiredo.
He might actually be a nice guy, but just the way he did my boy Joe Jitsu, I just can't respect him.
He talked way too much shit about fucking
Benavidez. One of my favorite fighters too, so I was like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being a hater, but ever since he did my boy like that, I just can't like him. And like, I was so disappointed in this fight. I was so hoping Alex Perez would take him out. He looked good in the beginning, but he made that classic wrestler mistake of hitting his head in the double leg. I saw it coming from a mile away. I was just like, bro, no. And like, he's so good at that arm and guillotine. I knew it was over. You know what's funny? I never bet on UFC fights. This is the one I actually betted on, and I lost my money almost immediately. I was so mad. I was like, Alex, that's like the most freaking like basic wrestler mistake. Because he was actually doing really well. I thought he was actually kind of getting some momentum going, and then he shot in, and I was just like, dude, Figueiredo's really good on the ground, and he's submitted guys to that guillotine in that past, and he left his head down. I was like, God damn it! And I knew he was in a tap because that shit was way too tight by the time he was trying to get out, and he was trying to push out too. I was like, oh, he fucked up, and then he tapped.
On top of the guillotine being really really tight, both individuals were still dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was locked in.
Out when you're that dry. Yeah. That's the best time to go for a sub.
Yeah. So Alex Perez, if he would have waited 5 minutes before he started initiating his wrestling, he would have had a better chance of executing his wrestling the way he planned. But he started too soon. The wrestling started way too soon. Figueiredo was ready for that. You know, he knew at some point that this wrestler will try and take me down, and he was ready for it. That's why, you know, I mean, the transitions too was quite nice. From Alex Perez having his leg, and then he did that little jiu-jitsu thing that he did, that pretty cool move that he did.
Yeah.
It almost like a scissor takedown, but without the takedown. He went ahead and wrapped around the leg, and then he was going for that ankle lock, but Alex Perez found his way out of there. You know what I'm saying? And then Alex, I believe, tried to take his back, and then he flipped over and then took his neck.
Caught him.
It was beautiful, man. It was a beautiful work of art. Yeah, and he jumped in his guard. He put his head in the armpit and jumped in his guard. So he was like, "Oh, thank you." He took the neck, wrapped around him, and just strangled him.
Yeah. I mean, me and you both do a lot of jiu-jitsu, man. I saw that coming from a mile away, and I was just like, "Oh, Alex, what are you doing, man?" Like, oh man, it's just like, I understand when you're in a moment and you're scrapping, you kind of just, I mean, obviously we have a third person view. They ain't seeing what we're seeing, but it was just like, man, I was just like, oh, he just put his head in there. I knew it was over once he got caught too, because that guy is so good in the ground. I was just like, oh, damn, bro, he just got
And,
caught.
and it's kind of like how according to Woods always says, hindsight 2020.
No, that's right. It's absolutely fine. But I mean, theoretically speaking, right? We got to look at one Alex Perez, because this is a guy who, regardless of the outcome, and Don McGuire says got a bounce, but disappointed my boy Alex
Me
Perez
too.
lost. I think
Rough,
we
man.
all are, and Colin Oyama is building Alex
He'll be
for
back.
sure.
For sure, he'll be back.
You know,
I can still see him winning that title.
but theoretically speaking, right? So Alex Perez, you know, basically coming into the UFC via Dana White's Contender Series back in 2017. In 3 years, basically fights his way to the contender side. I think he has the distinction of the first person from the Dana White Contender Series system to ever challenge for a world title. So he made history, win, lose, or draw in that fight. So I think that's one of the biggest takeaway, and it just shows not only the fighting acumen, but the person that Alex Perez is, and he announced, on his social medias that he's expecting a child as well. So, I mean, regardless of whatever, Alex Perez is going to be fine. And I would even venture a guess that he's going to be champ. This just wasn't the time, right? But yeah, I think he's young enough, and he hasn't taken a lot of damage in his career, right? Who's to say he's not challenging again?
I can see that
Let's
for
say,
sure. He's just starting out. It's not like he's in his 40s or something. You know what I mean? Like he just got caught. He'll come back. Everyone gets caught. You know what I mean? That's just the game. He just got caught messing up, and yeah, maybe I'm just a hater of the champ, but I was really sad. I feel like he got defense a lot too on those takedowns. I was like, bro, come on now. Maybe I'm just being a hater, but I saw a couple fence grabs. I didn't like that.
yes.
Hey man,
So,
hey, look, guys, look. We gotta recognize that this man comes from the jungle. He comes from the Amazon rainforest. Hey man, this dude is trained to eat things that'll make a billy goat puke. That's where he's coming from. He's coming from dirt. You know what I'm saying? And then when he gets here to modern civilization and people are civilized, he's bringing that raw, dirty jungle mindset with him. He's savagery. He's bringing that with him. And when he gets in that cage,
that's for sure.
Oh, nothing nice. You're not gonna get anything nice from this dude. Did you see when he hit jiu-jitsu the first time when he didn't make weight? He hit him so hard the dude hit the ground and bounced off the ground. And then the second time he went back at it again. He hit him. He hit him with some like he was hitting him with a sledgehammer. He hit him so hard and he just dismantled the man. And when he had Alexander's head, he was doing his best to pop that head off his shoulder. You know what I mean? There's a certain evilness to fight, and you're gonna need that if you want to be a champion in the UFC. There's gotta be some kind of maniacal edge to you. If you don't have the maniacal edge, you just can't make it to that top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to take a human being's life and not care 1 inch about it. It's like Drago said, if he dies, he dies. That is the mentality of David Figueiredo, and that is why he is successful in the UFC right now.
Oh, for sure. You can tell he has like this intensity about him when he fights. And the fighters obviously see it. I can even tell Perez can feel it when he's striking. Like he doesn't. There's no holding back. It's like, I'm going to kill you. Like he doesn't care if you die. You know what I mean? So it's just like, he's malicious, bro. I mean, I know you have to be when you're in there, but there's a certain level of intensity with this guy. I feel like it's what separates him from the rest of the guys in that division. Because like when he, you can just tell, like he has an aura about him when he fights. When he gets in there and he scores up with a dude, you can just tell, like, he's going to take your shots and you're not going to take his. That's kind of how I see his fighting style. You know what I mean? You can hit him, he will go down. He'll hit you and you will go down. You know what I mean?
And this thing that we're talking about is very common in people from third world countries or mountainous region. Look at the Khabibs. If you go to Khabib's hometown, it's all dirt road. It's all bricks. There's nothing fancy there. You know what I mean? There's nothing fancy. You got, you'll see a Mercedes-Benz driving on a dirt road with huge potholes. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see nothing but mountains and poverty. This is what Khabib comes from. And this is why he's so relentless in his assault. For 25 minutes, he knows there's no one in there in the UFC that can hang with him in 25 minutes. Maybe 26 minutes you might be able to hang, but 25, it's his world. Figueiredo is the same way. He understands for the 25 minutes, he will dominate. The man wrestles ox. He rides around oxes for transportation. You imagine what it takes to control an ox. And then he goes in there with these 125ers. He's going to destroy these dudes. He's got the power with him. He's got the power of Thor with him when he goes in there. You know what I'm saying? The man is a force to be reckoned with. And his name is what? God of War? God of War?
That
Kratos?
fits him. That fits him.
Yeah, that's
for
Kratos,
sure.
right? That's why he has that red stripe on his head, because he identifies with Kratos, the God of War. This is his mentality. He sees himself as Kratos, indestructible. Indestructible. You know what I'm saying? He when he's in that cage, he's a god. He is not a human being. See, the other fighters see themselves as fighting another human being. To him, he's a god fighting a human being. And that little edge is what gets him the victories.
For sure. I mean, it's at that level, it's just like, you know, if you're mentally above someone, you're going to win for sure. And I mean, it's like it's little stuff at that level. And if you have that kind of confidence in yourself, you're going to destroy people. And like, you can just see it in the way he fights, man. Like he just runs people over. Like, and I mean, in this case, I felt like Perez was actually doing pretty decent on the feet. But once he got caught, there was just no mercy. Like he literally was trying to rip his head off with that guillotine. Like he was cranking it. And I was just like, man.
Well, what we witnessed was Alex holding onto that leg too long. He held onto that leg too long. He gave Figueiredo a time to think about, what can I do here? Oh, okay, I can do this little cool breakdancing move. You know what I'm saying? He held on that leg too long. He didn't do anything with it. The last time we saw someone hold on to the leg too much, paid by getting separated from consciousness, which is that Joaquin Phoenix and that other fella, the African name,
Impa,
whatever,
I like that guy.
Impa. Yeah. Don't hold on to the leg, man. Anyone who studied martial arts, karate, taekwondo, or whatever you want to call it, understands not to hold on to the leg too long. You hold on to the leg too long, something bad's gonna happen, and that's what happens.
Can't be stationary too long in a fight, for sure. That's how you get caught. Can't hesitate. It's the game.
You're either gonna take him down, or let the leg go, man. Figure it out.
For sure.
Who the fuck did Joaquin Phoenix fuck up?
Joaquin Phoenix. I was wondering why you were laughing over there. I was like, wait a minute. Something happened. I don't know what was going on.
It's like, wait, Joaquin Phoenix. I was like, okay, is he talking about the Joker? And then he was like, oh, fuck. He's like,
You're talking about Buckley.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix is my favorite fighter.
My favorite Joker by far, for sure, for me at least.
Joaquin Phoenix is my favorite fighter. On Joaquin Buckley.
Hey, I'll learn his name one of these days, man. Hey, he's got to go out and impress me like Brandon Royval, man, and I'll master his name.
For sure. I just went with it too. I was like, oh yeah, that's his name. That makes sense.
I heard Joaquin Phoenix. I was like,
I thought I said Buckley, man. I thought I said Joaquin Buckley, man. You know what I'm saying?
I thought so too. That's why I went with it. Oh, that sounds right.
You know who I'm talking about.
This is how dumb I am, right? Like, I like froze in my mind. I froze it, right? And when I heard,
I saw this guy laughing too. I was like, what's he laughing?
Right? When I heard that, and I looked over just to make sure that was what I heard coming out. And I was like, wow, okay. Again, this is why we need good name pronunciation for $1,000, $999.99 for 4 easy payments of $499.99. Pronounce all types of shit much like our good friend Voodoo Maximus.
All day. All day.
Just
All day, man. All day, every day. Hey, by
yeah,
the way, man, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this, man. And hit that notification
sure.
bell, baby. Let's go. What's
Tracy
up,
Jones.
Trace?
We got to know if Tracy Cho's favorite fighter is Joaquin Phoenix either. You know, we'll see. We will see. Let us know, Tracy. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe to Voodoo in the Woods, where we kick this shit live every time of the UFC fight. But and our special thanks to former International Fight Showdown champion Jesse Velasquez for joining us here. Now, for those who haven't followed you guys on social media, Jesse, we'll take you from the top. Where can they find you on social media?
Oh yeah, man! You guys can find me on Facebook, Jesse Velasquez, Instagram, Midoriya MMA. Yeah, you know, I post about my fights, post a lot of memes. Hope you guys like that. If you don't like that, don't follow me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Facebook and Instagram. you know what's up, Adam? We're the meme kings, bro. Meme lords.
Memes for life.
That's right.
For life. For life. Like the NWO. Voodoo, where can they find you on social media?
All the main platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Voodoo Maximus, let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm According to Woods, where I do some shit. I do a lot of stuff. And out of the three of us, I'm the only non-champion. I've got belts, but I bought them on eBay.
You get there, bro.
Yes. Like, share, and fine. Again, we've got we've got Naga. I just don't even know what this shit goes from, man. But again, for those who are joining us, thank you guys for joining us here on your Sunday or whatever day it may be. Everybody have an awesome, awesome week. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to Voodoo in the Woods on Instagram. Well, not Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube.
And yes, those are the things. And we are out.
Yeah.